Tanga just logged out, I think, after the trial. Looks like Mrllama going to upper prison. We do have, looks like DEFEKT working his way through. I believe he did do the trial already.
And we have everyone sub 8, even though we have people in the lower upper prison area. I'd like to see them gain that level to level 8 against Brutus, but it's not a necessity. It's just going to be quite a bit harder.
Yeah, definitely very hard to be able to do that in time. Because when you're in the upper prison, there is that necromancers freaking everywhere. They give you enfeeble. You do see Mrllama smacking on some whites and trying to get some levels, but he has got enfeeble on, so he's not doing as much damage.
That's very true. The enfeeble being a huge problem running through that lower upper prison area, especially when you're throwing down traps. It's going to affect that. It's going to affect every skill that you have that does damage. So it's just not something you want to have to deal with.
Yeah, definitely. I do see like Mrllama continuously dipping low, and I'm gonna predict that he's gonna die a couple times. He might die even in the lab. So he does hit level 8. I believe he's the first one to do it.
Very possible that he's going to drop here. Probably, or possibly, I should say, not probably. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, possibly against Brutus, but as you said, tipping low many times here, too many to count. But I don't know, maybe that's all planned. It's all calculated for him. We don't really know. He is a D2 speedrunner.
Yeah, I mean, way too low too many times. So it's gonna be interesting to see if he's able to pull it out without dying. I will definitely apologize to Mrllama, but I do believe that he's just dipping way too low too frequently and will certainly die.
So how do you feel about doing the trials in a kind of sequential order? Do you think it's more beneficial for them to find those trials, or just kind of go with the flow, and if they don't find it, they can come back?
So for at least this first trial, if you don't see it as you're running, I would just go back and do it. Like once you have leap slam or whatever kind of movement skills you have, because you can definitely get through it faster later on. And it's relatively easy to find. Normally you take the waypoint and you head north and it's right there. But if it's not there when you're running through, I would just come back a different time. All the other ones, I feel like you almost need to do them as they come up.
I definitely agree with that. The spike trap's always doing a lot of damage, a lot of slowing, and like you said, with movement skills, way easier to tackle those traps.
All right, we do see Mrllama getting ready for Brutus. He's doing a lot of work on his gear. Nogrul is working his way through the trial. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Mrllama is able to do this without dying. BEATanga hitting 8. Lost a little bit of ground here. So maybe he got a little bit worse layout, but we're going to be going on to full screen here, I guess, on Mrllama here pretty soon.
Yes, Llama face taking Brutus, but doing so much damage there with that Molten Strike. Look at that.
So much damage. He's tree in the middle of the fight and melts Brutus down. Mrllama first, number 1. And we'll see if this speed run keeps going. DEFEKT actually coming in second here for Brutus. He is on Brutus right now, half health, and using still freeze pulse and fire trap. Very interesting combination here. Has to go back to town. Looks like BEATanga is actually getting pretty close to where Brutus's lair is, but DEFEKT doing some shopping. What do you think he's looking to pick up right now?
I did not see what he ended to pick up. Did he pick up a flask? I'm not too sure. I didn't realize, but it looks like he's having a little bit of trouble on Brutus having to go back to town there with the flask management and everything. But I'm going to have to hand it to Llama. Really showed Brutus who's boss there, just destroying him in about 3 seconds.
He really did a good job there on the damage. I believe he hadn't gone back to town yet, DEFEKT is, to get his support gem. So he picked that up. He also picked up a chest, and he should be able to take him down here very easily. Just does a slam, tanks the slam, takes about half his health and damage. And we do see BEATanga's coming up on Brutus as well here very soon. So easy. Our third fight as well. Llama is working his way through towards the ship graveyard. It'll be interesting to see how far he can get before Nogrul makes it to Brutus. Nogrul's actually using a staff right now. That's something I wouldn't expect to see.
Definitely not, but it does have that rarity enchantment there. 9% increased attack speed, cast speed rather, sorry. Not going to really help with that flame totem too much, but maybe with the freezing pulse.
Oh yeah, definitely. It doesn't have mana on kill, so maybe he's gonna like not have to use his 2 small mana flasks as much. We do have cleaning up Brutus very quickly. That was very quick kill. And so we have 3 guys who killed Brutus already. Nogrul going back to town, doing a little shopping. Not level 8 yet. Currently, BEATanga is in the lead in terms of experience, although I believe that Mrllama did just hit 9. So it's a very close race right now. Very close.
It is a close race indeed. I'm noticing BEATanga here out of the casters, the only one seemingly to be using Arcane Surge. Such a powerful support gem. How do you feel about the other people not picking that up?
Probably a very large mistake from the other people not using Arcane Surge, especially because you want to pick it up pretty early on. In a lot of my testing, when you end up leveling Arcane Surge, it becomes a pain in the butt to proc. But if you only have it at level 1, having it on like Flame Dash or some sort of secondary skill makes it so it's pretty much always up.
Definitely. Having that Arcane Surge at level 1 only costs a Scroll of Wisdom. Not too expensive, honestly. You could pick it up instantly. And putting that on your off skill, just like you said, on either Flame Surge, or sorry, on something like the Trap, or some movement skill, I should say, like Flame Dash, it's very beneficial.
Just pick up Arcane Surge, so maybe he's getting a little bit of tips and tricks from his chat, getting a little bit of advice. He's going back in the upper prison, heading to face the warden here soon, but it looks like he just started upper prison, definitely falling a little bit behind already. Do you think that we see like Mrllama in the lead here with Cleave, with the Molten Strike? Do you think he's just going to stick with that the entire time? Or do you think he's going to accidentally put on Sunder?
Let's hope he doesn't actually put on Sunder, as that would... I don't know what the penalties are this. I'm assuming either DQ or a time penalty, but I don't think he's going to. I think he's sticking to that Molten Strike for the single target damage. He's also, rocking that Ancestral Protector, giving him that attack speed as well as a lot of damage from the totem. I think that's going to be a big feature here, or skill here, for him to fight, Izaro as well as just the other bosses. I think he's going to keep that throughout.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do see that he doesn't have a ring right now besides his 1 iron ring. So definitely could probably look to pick up like a sapphire ring or something like that before the Merveil fight. Something else that he hasn't done yet is his Ancestral Protector totem is only linked to Chance to Bleed. He does have a 3 red hat, but having Maim support is very strong. It's like adding an additional support gem for your main skill. And I saw a lot of use for it when I was playing Cleave. Do you think that's something he should consider going back and getting?
Judging from what I've seen, I did do a little bit of peeping on Mrllama with Noogie, and last time I saw him use Maim, he did, in fact, but he picked it up in Act 2, and I think he's going to add it to his Ancestral Protector if he's following the same reasoning as he did with Noogie, but I'm not sure why he doesn't have it now, since he does have room for it.
He might just not have the transmutes for it, is my guess.
That's very true. Transmutes being very expensive early on in the game, having to sell all those blue items, and knowing actually when to sell rares, identified and unidentified, a kind of big thing there for newer players, as unidentified rares, I believe, giving you the transmute shards, whereas identified giving you alterations, which helps a lot for skills in Act 2.
Yeah, definitely. I do see Nogrul is working on Brutus right now, using Fire Totem and Freezing Pulse. Freezing Pulse, very similar to what DEFEKT was using. Do you think this Flame Totem is helping him out here?
I think it definitely is. I just don't see it up enough, close enough to Brutus, but he's just going to face tank him here, and he does take him down pretty handedly. I was a little worried there, but it looks like he did have a pretty smooth sailing there for that kill.
Yeah, definitely that large life flask showing its power. When you have the large life, you can generally just face tank. And we're going to see Mrllama here coming onto Merveil's lair right now, and he still does not have any cold resistance, I believe. So this will be interesting. He might die.
I can definitely agree to that. Not having the cold resist is going to be tough against Merveil. But if they have any skills where they can sit at range, definitely it's going to be something that will help them out, mitigate that damage.
He gets juked by Merveil with her teleport. Oh, dipping very low. He's all out of large life flask. Merveil herself is also very low. Looks like he's able to push it into phase 2 here without a problem. So phase 2, generally the easiest phase.
Yes, phase 2 way easier than phase 1 in my opinion. Just have to look out for that AoE water spout that she does, but he is just sitting behind her and doing so much damage, but also taking a lot of damage in return. But I think he's going to take her down pretty easily.
I think Mrllama, while in the lead, does have the worst flasks out of all of the competitors right now. So that's probably something he's going to need to look to improve. He did pick up a lot of gear here. One thing that's interesting about playing a Leap Slam character is you don't necessarily care about picking up move speed boots. That's probably why he ignored the Quicksilver quest.
That's probably very true, and actually picking up faster attacks in Act 2 is going to be a huge help for that movement speed. It's going to push them well ahead of all these other players, as they're not going to be running Leap Slam. They're probably going to be running Flame Dash.
And actually, ironically enough, Mrllama does have move speed boots. So all of the players that could get move speed boots, he cares the least about it, and he has it. So
and really good enchants actually on those move speed boots, the strength and the life. It's going to add a lot of extra HP to his kit here.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some awesome boots. Probably will keep them all the way to the end.
Interesting here. Sorry, I was going to say DEFEKT here, not wearing much here. It doesn't have the chest plate. Doesn't want to take the, they believe, the movement speed penalty, but doesn't have a helmet or an amulet. The only one without an amulet, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like he also doesn't have a belt either. So maybe he's just hasn't found anything good. Like I know generally like rustic sash isn't going to help you. And it looks like we're going to have BEATanga here coming up against Mrllama as the second racer to get there.
Yeah, Mrllama really surprising me here, just doing so well in this race this far. But we have seen many other racers catch up. So just because he's very much ahead right now doesn't mean it's going to be like this the whole entire race.
Oh yeah, I believe he's only a level 10. Maybe he just hit level 11 here. But it'll be interesting as BEATanga gets Essence Drain at level 12 if he's able to close the gap in experience and in just zones. BEATanga going very low against Mrllama, tanking a lot of these sword slashes and doing a pretty good job though of sidestepping the frozen sushi. I don't think he's gonna die here.
I don't think so either. The frozen fish, obviously the biggest damage dealer here. As long as you stay out of that, you're pretty much good to go. Or if you have a lot of cold resist, you could actually face tank, but probably not the best option.
And let's review BEATanga's gear real quick. It looks like he has a rare wand, which has spell damage, and then mana, a little bit of resistances, and that's it. He doesn't have a +1 wand yet, which is kind of interesting because chaos wands are actually very easy to make. It's actually kind of ridiculously easy because all you need is a magical wand and any sort of chaos gem. So he could buy a second blade, use the lesser poison that he starts off with as a shadow, and gets a +1 really easily. Do you think he's just forgotten about it, or what do you think's going on with that?
I'm not too sure, but having a knowledge of those NPC, those recipes are such a huge advantage. Just utilizing those, especially the ones too where you can get extra physical damage on your weapons. I believe Llama might pick that up later on once he gets a new weapon. Those things can really put you ahead.
So it looks like side by side here, we do have DEFEKT working on phase 2, Mrllama, having a little bit of trouble, only having still that freeze pulse. Do you think, I'm not really sure what he's doing with freeze pulse still at this point. No, he's only level 10, but yeah.
I'm not sure.
He switches skills.
Maybe he's waiting for that level 12 exchange. I'm not sure what he's going to change over to. I mean, he's only using freeze pulse. I'm actually somewhat surprised. I don't think anyone's picked up Lightning Trap. Not necessarily the best for single target, but very good for AoE clear if you can pick up multi-traps with it.
Very solid choice for leveling. Lots of experience. And we'll see if he goes with that. The only problem I think with Lightning Trap is that it's not very great for killing Izaro. You end up having to run in circles a whole lot. And
definitely not the best choice for endgame there, but I think for chewing your way through Act 2, it's pretty good.
Looks like Mrllama is on the second floor of the Chamber of Sins, working his way towards the second trial, which is the Razorblade trial.
Yeah, the two trials here in Act 2, I believe, are the easiest ones. You don't even need movement speed skills to kind of lock in and guarantee that success there on the trial. The razor blades, I mean, you can really just run through them as long as you don't run with them. You run against the grain. It's pretty, cut and dry.
Yeah, he's just jumping right over those razor blades. Not a problem. Lands on one. Oh, he takes a huge cut, but definitely has the flasks to be able to pull that off.
You know, Llama looking so frazzled there on the Twilight Strand. Maybe after that first absent-minded death, but he's looking really calm now. Look at that stare. That is a stare of someone who wants to succeed. I think he's not paying attention too much to his chat. He is communicating, but like I said, he looks really focused.
Very low to the spark casters. Still has like no resistances, I believe, on his gear at all. So Fidelitas does do a lot of lightning damage, and a lot of racers will go in with a topaz ring. We'll see if he's able to stick it out, and Mr. Llama, first death right then, right there, dies to some, I think, blue monsters.
That is indeed unfortunate. I did see BEATanga, I'm not sure if we picked up on it, but it does look like he finally used the Chaos Gem recipe, so that's going to definitely help him out here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I do see right now the items are messed up. So, yeah, there it is. He has that +1. Looks like it's a pretty decent one. He has Contagion and Void Manipulation. I'm sure that once he hits level 12, Essence Drain will be going right in there as well. Looks like both DEFEKT and BEATanga, very similar course. Nogrul looking right now for Mrllama, trying to find her down. And it'll be interesting to see if Mr. Llama is able to get through without too many deaths.
Definitely, that's going to be a huge one there. It is only a 1 minute a penalty for deaths on this race, so not too bad actually to rack up, a couple of deaths. It's not going to harm you too much, but obviously you don't want to get tilted and possibly end up going on a death train, so to speak. Definitely not going to be something you want to do.
Dipping very low. That's going for the shrine, and lots of sparks. Like I said, no resistances from Mr. Llama right now, and so he is basically just face tanking all of this damage. And one of the things that can be scary though, like if you've gotten used to dying, is you can end up, which costs you way more than 1 minute. Nogrul right now is working on Mrllama phase 1, using that flame totem, using freezing pulse, and tanking some sushi there, but not seeming to have too much trouble.
Yeah, and Llama being the only natural melee skill user right now, that is pretty hard when you get surrounded with the Zerg surround, so to speak, on these Spark minions. Taking a lot of damage, you can see here on this fight. But using that Molten Strike for single target, not even linked, and it's just doing so much damage to these bosses.
So much damage. He absolutely blew Fidelitas away. It looks like he had a topaz ring hiding somewhere. So finally decides to get that equipped, picks up the Herald of Ash, and is going to keep on going here. I do see DEFEKT in town doing a little bit of shopping, looking for a belt. I think he just picked up a leather belt. Maybe heard that you were commenting on that before. Nogrul working on phase 2 Mrllama, slowly but surely whittling her down. What do you think Nogrul has to do here in order to kind of like close the gap a little bit?
I'm looking at his skills here, and it looks like he's just using that Freezing Pulse Flame Totem. Doesn't have too much clear at a distance, so I would like to see him maybe change up this kit a little bit, possibly even find some new items. I mean, that's not something you can really control, but he's using Goat's Horns, which do a lot of spell damage, but he doesn't have any movement speed boots. I think that's something that might be able to bring him back in this race.
Finding a lucky, like 15% move speed boot would really change the game for him. Looks like he's able to get Mrllama down, no problem. Looks like Mr. Llama might be moving towards Caitlyn here. Do you think he's going to kill all the bandits, or he's going to help a specific one?
I'm not too sure, Creighton here. Really good for him with that 6% movement speed as well as the attack speed. Some people may be opting in to get Oak just to get the, for him especially, to get the percentage life regen as well as 20%, I believe, physical damage. Really good there as well. I don't know. I really don't know. I think some people opt in for the passive skills. I like to kill one of these bandits just because it's really hard to make up for those benefits.
Yeah. Caitlyn being a lower level zone than Oak, so definitely going here before, like if you wanted to kill Oak as well, definitely a smart move. Looks like he is beating the crap out of him in the corner with Molten Strike and just doing so much damage. Molten Strike kind of does shotgun if you can get up against a wall, but he is also dipping very low. Looks like he's improved his life last.
Death there, actually, to Creighton. I don't know how that's going to affect them.
Scratch 2 for Mr. Llama. I believe that was probably an explosive arrow. Problem though, dying to Caitlyn. Doesn't he reset? Full
He
HP.
does indeed. You do have to redo him, just like if you were to take a teleport back or portal back to town, and he's getting really low again. Has to leap slam out of there. So much damage coming from Grayton here.
Caitlyn does do a lot of damage, and also the thing that I do notice, he's like just trying to 1v1, but there are plenty of archers in this fight as well, and those guys do explosive arrow, which if it misses you but hits the wall, you're gonna get hit as well. Manages to take out Caitlyn here, and with only
I like that quick disconnect, saying, "I'm done with you archers. I'm out of here. Leave me alone." Great move there.
He pieces out very quickly. We just see BEATanga working on Fidelitas, and pretty much just face tanking right now with his Blight and his Essence Drain. I'm not too sure about his resistances, but it looks like he only had 15%, so that was a pretty gutsy move.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of taking a slower angle now. He was very much second, I believe. He still might be, but he is slowly falling behind compared to Mrllama here. Surprising, since he had such a strong start.
Yeah, he was definitely very, very close to Mrllama, and decently behind. We'll see if Mrllama is able to keep up this pace without accumulating too many deaths. Right now, I believe he's at 2. I believe he's the only one to die, so
he is indeed the only one to die. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, he did not pick up Sunder. Obviously, I want to see if he's going to come back and pick up Maim, and I wonder how he's going to approach the bandits, because that's a big thing. I think that's a big key to a lot of builds.
Yeah, I think he might pick Oak. I do think it's better for casters in general to go and kill all the bandits. But I'm not sure that's a good, like, the best choice for like a melee build. You do get that regen, you do get the extra damage, and I think it'd be pretty complementary to his build.
It is indeed, and here is DEFEKT, like I said, calling with the Fire Nova Mine. He's been really, really liking that, and it just does so much massive AoE damage that you can pretty much just set it down, set it, forget it, run away, and just kill those packs so quickly.
Yeah, definitely good to see him using something else than Freezing Pulse, that's for sure. Nogrul as well, switching skills. He's now using Firestorm, which is normally banned in a lot of these races, but isn't banned. Do you think that this skill choice is going to help him close the gap a little bit?
I really like seeing Firestorm picked up here. It is such a good skill, not only for killing, in an AoE or killing groups, but so good on that single target damage as well.
Yeah, because you can stack it up. It's not just one cast per area. You just keep stacking it up, and doing a lot of damage. And this chat does mention that Oak does sometimes take a while to kill as a melee build, because he does use that Immortal Call. So it can be a little sketchy, especially if you can't deal any damage to him. So maybe he'll choose to help him for that.
That is very, very true. I just like, oh wow, going solo, sorry, on Llama there again, sub 100 or so. I mean, he was just so low there, just spams those flasks and makes it out, just ekes it out there alive. Oh man.
Do you think Mrllama, like maybe in future races, if we do like a low life race, might have some sort of edge against the other races?
Definitely picks up that arcane, maybe that that 30% more spell damage on low life. He could just sit there all day and maybe be in his comfort, be in a comfort zone for him. It seems like he's used to being down there. His face just shows that no nerves. His nerves of steel. I don't see him freaking out that much at all.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting a little bit lost again. Maybe not super familiar with the zones. I know he is looking for a Lyra and heads back to Lion Eyes Watch. Maybe he's going to finally pick up Maim here.
I believe he is, and it looks like I did not see what he picked up.
Looks like he's typing in Maim, so yeah.
That's okay. Picked up Maim. I think he's going to connect that to his Ancestral Protector. He does have an open link there, which is very strong at 3 red. Going to do a lot of work.
A lot of work with that 3 red, and he'll probably end up using another 3 red, maybe even a 4 red for his Molten Strike eventually.
Definitely. If someone picks up that 4 link, especially if it's the colors you want, so strong. Very hard, though, especially if you need to spend chromatics. It's just such a risk because you don't get that many chromatics during these races.
And you might end up with 3 or 4, maybe 5 if you're really lucky. But once again, we have Mrllama going up against one of the bandits. Predictions here. Is he going to die?
I don't think he's gonna die. I feel that Illyria is one of the easier bandits, and actually one of the ones that a lot of people don't like to pick up. But that 15% to all resist, very strong at low level, especially in these races, as you don't really have to plan for late game.
Yeah, the all res can be also really good if you have certain types of Izaros. So like if there's idols or conduits where you're gonna have like pretty much guaranteed elemental damage coming at your face, then having that additional 15% resistance.
That is very true. I mean, a lot of that stuff needs to be factored in. I wonder if anyone did check out Lab today. I did actually, and I know that there are the portals and gargoyles today. Gonna be a pretty tough lab.
Portals, I think, is kind of difficult when you have like not as much gear, especially because you have to get in there in melee and really kind of deal with them. And so resistances can come into play. Gargoyles, though, probably one of the hardest.
Definitely. I think Gargoyle is going to be the hardest for everyone. They just have so much resistance, and that invulnerability until they end up being activated is huge.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to see if any Mrllama getting surrounded by spiders here, and might. He's definitely having a little bit of trouble. He's fighting off 2 rares, but looks like he's going to be able to jump away no problem.
Mrllama definitely showing that he is no arachnophobe here. He says, I'm going to deal with the spiders in a very manly smash and beat them down. They're not going to deal anything to me. I'm fine.
Yeah, definitely not afraid of spiders. Mrllama confirmed. Nogrul working on a trial right now. I'm not sure if anybody else went to the catacombs yet to get the trial.
I did not see anyone venture that direction. I'd like to go there to level a little bit, but definitely something you want to pick up in Act 2 while you're there. It looks like BEATanga here on Crying. He's going to kill him. Let's see how he does compared to Llama.
Yeah, he's that essence strain contagion spreading all throughout the ads, not having to worry about them too much, but it looks like he's just trying to face tank with Blight right now. Might be a little scary. He seems to be doing very well.
I did not see if DEFEKT actually picked up Crichton already, but he is already at the spider lair here at level 15 as well. He is tied for levels with Mrllama, actually. Very surprising.
DEFEKT is definitely doing very well, and we'll see if he's able to keep up this type of pace and able to get into this race. Really, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes who's ahead in Act 2. Really, that's how you know.
It's very, very true. You can take you take different routes, different places to go. And looking at DEFEKT's Goat Horn here, oh my gosh, 23% spell damage with +1 to Chaos Gems. I'm sure BEATanga would be drooling all over that.
Oh yes, that would definitely be very good for him. Still, I don't see any move speed boots for anybody except for Mrllama, who of course is leap slamming. So maybe these guys just...
Yes, Mrllama picking up those boots very early on, and I think he's going to ride this one out with those boots. He's going to keep those all the way through Izaro.
One thing I do notice is that only person with MTX right now is BEATanga. So we're not seeing any of the cool skill effects for all of the different skills that we have on the screen. But which one of these skills has the best MTX, do you think?
I don't know I'm not too familiar with the MTXs for a lot of these skills, to be honest. But I would like to see what is Orb of Storms. I don't know. Does that have a pretty cool? I mean, that's just a cool looking effect to begin with. I think that one might actually be kind of cool with any MTX, just because it has that large area. Could show off a lot of pretty graphics there.
Looks like Nogrul is fighting Harbinger Pack and kind of getting surrounded by those Flame Dash guys, but he's going to escape into Chamber of Sins too. Not a big deal. And we'll see if he remembers to do the trial in here. Sometimes bracers have been known to skip right ahead to Fidelitas.
I honestly do not like that choice. It's just so easy. It's always in the same spot. Very easy to find, and just an easy trial. It's guaranteed for completion with no deaths.
Yep, looks like he is probably going to head towards Fidelitas. I wonder if he'll try to do the trial second, or if he has the waypoint in the first floor.
I am looking at DEFEKT's items, and wow, that Storm Spell Ghost Horn and that Vortex Peak Sallet there, or I don't know if it's Sallet, but that dual resist, 16% cold and 15% lightning, really going to help him out throughout this whole race.
He definitely has a lot of resistances. His gloves are white, and his boots are got decks, but those two pieces both very, very solid. Some of the other players, really, I think BEATanga with having that +1 Chaos Gems wand, really, really big deal. And I think Defect only has Minefield Fire Nova Mine, so he's not even bothering to support this with any other gems.
And it looks like Llama here choosing to kill Oak and possibly picking up all those stat points. 2 stat points, really, really beneficial either way you look at it.
Yeah, definitely you can get to things like Resolute Technique sooner. He's going to get a lot of loot here, and we'll be interested to see who is the first person to get to ball.
Do you have any predictions on this? I'm gonna have to go with Mr. Llama. He's been showing a lot of just crazy moves and really good skill placement and everything like that.
I go with Llama as well, because this feels like he's a little bit ahead. I can't be certain that he is 100% ahead in this race right now, simply because I don't believe he's done all the trials in Act 2.
That is very true. That's something you really have to take into account. I'd like to see him upgrade his weapons soon, but I'm looking at his rat mitts. He does have that leap slam with a gem slot for faster attacks. Do you think he did that intentionally to make an account for Act 2 faster attacks with leap slam?
Oh yeah, Act 2, getting that faster attacks leap slam is really good, and it's really great when it's not on your weapon, because then you don't have to worry about doing all that juggling. But his weapons are actually very bad for this point in the race. I think he's still using a rusted hatchet, which is going to really cripple him. As we're speaking about it, he upgrades his axe. So
upgrades the axe and also gets a new pair of gloves. A 3-link, 2 red, 1 green. I didn't see what he put on. I'm assuming it's going to be for faster attacks. Or no, maybe that's his onslaught with his main skill. I'm not sure.
See what he does with that. One thing we have seen some racers pulling out is Culling Strike. Do you think we're going to see anybody using Culling Strike in this race?
I'm not too sure. I did pull out the Culling Strike for Izaro especially. I feel like, it's really, really good, especially since today is the Portals and Gargoyles and Izaro. You're going to get that Culling Strike only for Phase 3 on Izaro, but you will get that Culling Strike for all of the prior phases of Izaro.
Oh, yeah. Definitely Culling Strike being very strong finishing off Phase 3. We do see Defect in the bottom left working on Oak. Doesn't have to worry about Immortal Call because he's using the Fire Nova Mine. It's doing a lot of damage, dancing around him, and doesn't seem to be taking much damage as well. BEATanga working his way right now towards the Weaver's Nest, and it's going to be a Chaos Showdown. And looks like having too much trouble. What totem is that he has right now? I'm not sure where he picked up this totem.
Is this on BEATanga?
On Defect. And a decoy totem.
Oh, a decoy totem. Really strong, actually. Probably one of the best totems you can get for this race, in my opinion.
And decoy totem is pretty broke, but I'm not 100% certain that's what's on his bar.
Looks like someone's saying it's rejuvenation totem.
Rejuvenation totem. Interesting choice. Maybe good for lab traps if you get in trouble and you run out of flasks, but I've never actually used rejuvenation totem, so I wasn't familiar with the icon.
I mean, it's going to help with that life regen, but not too much. But maybe on these fights like for Izaro, when you have to really manage your flasks and wait for Izaro ads to spawn to get those usages back, or the charges, it could help out.
Did just take down Caitlyn, so we have that going on. Defect, I believe, did just help Alira, so he did take your advice, and he's picking up that extra mana regen and all res.
Very, very interesting pickup there. I feel like a lot of players opting out not to help her. Sorry, Alira, but I don't think you're that common of a pick.
He's not very popular in school. It looks like we have BEATanga doing a little shopping. Doesn't have an alteration. Gets an alteration. He's going to pick up, I believe, Controlled Destruction, or at least that's what he's hovering over. And that should help him out, I believe, with his Essence Drain.
I'm feeling here Mr. Llama, with amazing setup here. We have the Herald of Ash and Molten Strike for single target damage, and then that Ancestral Protector with the Maim and Chance to Bleed. And then, of course, his main skill, Onslaught, Cleave, and Added Fire. Just so much damage, physical damage, and fire damage coming out here. It's just a powerhouse of a setup.
Yeah, definitely having like the setup in his gloves is very strong. But it looks like right now his Leap Slam is not linked to faster attacks, even though he could put this into his chest. Probably a little bit of a mistake coming here from Mr. Llama. And his weapon, his cleaver in his main hand, is just a white cleaver. maybe he's not familiar with the rustic sash trick.
Definitely, that would really help him out there if he could get that physical damage onto it. I'm not sure if he's waiting for something else, but also offhand here with the Jade Hatchet, pretty strong. Jade Hatchet's always been very, very, very strong early on.
Yep, and looks like we have Nogrul in Act 1 doing some shopping. DEFEKT is working his way through the map, and BEATanga is, I believe, looking for Oak right now. Yeah, it looks like he's going to find Oak here right now. Mrllama getting that experience in the Northern Forest. He hit the Shadow Ball and is working on the Blacksmith Strongbox.
Yeah, the Northern Forest always known to have great EXP, great pack density, and it looks like DEFEKT having a little bit of trouble here through the Val Ruins. Honestly, one of my least favorite layouts. Could be a little tricky sometimes.
Oh, I hate Val Ruins. BEATanga dropping really low against Oak. Lots of guys all surrounding him. But that Essence String just clears it out with the Contagion combo. And it's just such a pretty sight to see when that Essence Drain Contagion combo finally kicks off.
Yeah, it's that Essence Drain with Contagion so strong, especially
Mrllama dipping really low there to a Harbinger pack. He's got the Flame Dash guys, and they're really taking him down.
Now, Mrllama always seems to be dipping there to low life, but he seems to eke his way out most of the time. And as I was just saying, BEATanga has 2 wands now with plus socketed Chaos Gems, going to really help out with that combo on Blight and Contagion and Essence Drain.
And that is a very good combo to have. And crafting those is a very smart move from him. Low life Llama is just really pulling it out today. He's getting really low, but not dying too much. So we'll be interested to see how he does against Vol. It looks like he will be the first one there. And I believe we do have DEFEKT in the bottom left, just hitting the Shadow Ball, heading into the Northern Forest. I believe that kind of places him in second place right now.
Yeah, DEFEKT showing a lot of catch-up work here. Like I said before, I think he can actually catch up to Mrllama. He's doing really, really well here. Made up so much ground in the past 15 minutes or so.
I think only his major problem is that he can't use Onslaught, and Mrllama is just leap slamming so fast. Once he gets faster attacks linked in, he's just going to be moving way too fast, I believe, to catch up.
It's very, very true. I mean, it's still anybody's race. Nogrul, obviously, a bit behind. I'd really like him to see him switch a few of his items. It looks like he hasn't changed out his items for possibly a good 5 levels or so.
Yeah, it looks like he does have at least a +1 fire wand. He's using Arcane Surge and increased lightning damage with the Firestorm. So that at least is going pretty good for him.
That is true. The +1 fire skills gem or wand is going to be really, really big. I really hope he can find some movement speed boots, though, because I believe that would help him quite a bit in this race.
Boots can make or break your race, that's for sure. I believe still Mrllama is the only one that has them. His way through, I think, to yeah, he's not finding his way correctly, but he's working his way through the Northern Forest, and he's definitely catching up, I believe. Mrllama, although doing a lot of damage, is 2 levels ahead at 18. DEFEKT only 16. Is he getting he's like right on the edge of getting XP penalty at this point.
Yeah, he is a little bit high here. Mrllama not leveling up his gem here. I'm not sure why he's choosing not to. I'm not sure if that's the maim or chance to bleed. But he's just leaving it there. I'm not sure why.
It might be because right now he's using a strength amulet. It might want to change to an int amulet or something like that later on. But I believe like going towards ranger, he is going to get pretty much all of the stats he does need besides strength. So
yeah, I'm trying to think of what int would be needed for it. I guess maybe to level up his Herald of Ash if he wants to do that.
Yeah, Herald of Ash does require int, oddly enough. I believe Hatred does as well.
That is very true. If he does pick up Hatred from Act 3 rewards, that would be pretty strong.
Yeah, Hatred can be really good. Also, like maybe using like Haste just to get through the trap section very quickly. Something you can look at as well.
Nogrul, going back to Act 1, probably picking up a gem here. I'm not sure what he's doing over on this side. Looks like he's looking for a Dex amulet. He must be needing Dex for these boots, I believe.
Did he pick up some move speed boots?
I didn't see what boots they were, but it was a 3-link leather boots or evasion rating boots. So I think he's trying to pick up Dex as quick as he can to use these. He does actually go for that skill point quest reward from Act 2 or Act 1, excuse me.
I think that was the Way Forward quest. So
Exactly, the Way Forward quest that a lot of people seem to opt out of, as it does take you away from, you know, the Spider or Weaver as well as Alira.
It does take a little bit of time. The only time I generally would ever do it is if you get completely lost looking for Alira. And Mrllama using an Essence of Contempt on his gloves, opting not to use the physical damage onto a weapon.
I don't think I like this choice. I would really like to see the extra damage on a weapon, as I favor damage, being more now of a software player, but I never know. Maybe this glove choice is going to work out for him.
I'm thinking what he's thinking is that I'm keeping these gloves for a while. These have the links that I need. I'm going to be using them for the rest of the race. Having them rare is going to be great. I don't think that's a good pick, though, because either you have to make your weapon better, or another thing, he just switched off his cleaver, actually, for a rapier. So maybe he's like, I got a good weapon already, but if you actually do hit that essence into your belt, you can use that later on, if it's not that great, for a recipe, if it's a rustic. Looks like he's switching a lot of stuff around, and it is the first of all.
Yeah, Nogrul here still struggling, level 16. The only one to choose Templar, actually. Kind of surprising me. How do you feel about the Templar pick?
I was doing a little bit of testing earlier today with Templar, and it can be pretty strong, but I believe having Leap Slam is just very, very strong as well. BEATanga's like Essence Drain setup, also very smart. So we'll see how this works out. Mrllama heading into Vol Oversoul right now on the big screen, doing so much damage with that Molten Strike.
Yeah, he's doing so much damage, like you said, indeed. And we are just seeing him chunk down Vol here. He could even take him out in the third resurgence of him.
Yeah, so his new weapon that he equipped is actually looks like just a white. He's using 2 white weapons, but the gloves that he did end up getting off of the essence do have +1 to 2 physical, +1 to 2 cold, a little bit of accuracy, and some cold res. So not terrible, but I still think that having that on the weapon.
Getting a rare ancient sword, though, I wonder if that's going to be a good upgrade for him.
Ancient Sword, I believe, is level 24 requirement, so it'll probably be a while till he's able to use that.
Very true. Very, very true. That's always the big thing about racing here. Level requirements are tough to deal with, since you get super excited about getting a good drop, and then you're saying, crap, maybe not for me.
Yeah, getting the great weapon that you can never use is probably the worst feeling to get.
And it does look like he's just going to end up vendoring that for the currency to spend possibly on other skills later on.
Yeah, I mean, he's still using 2 white weapons. It's almost as if he doesn't know that, he can do that rustic sash recipe. I think.
I just feel like this is something Nugi would have told him, or Nugi would have told him. Maybe he forgot. Maybe he didn't reference his notes as we saw before physically in his notebook. Maybe just something. It's just an oversight. I don't know.
He did seem a little bit shaken at the start of the race because of that death. Was having a little bit difficult time with his notes, so maybe that's what we're seeing here.
And looking at these webcams here, BEATanga with that stone cold face hiding under that hood, looking really, really cool, calm. Same with DEFEKT here. He doesn't seem to be worried one bit. I wonder if any of them know how close they are to each other.
Yeah, I know that sometimes when I have raced, I have had no idea where anybody else is, and other times you're getting a lot of information from your chat. So Nogrul looking very focused, maybe a little bit annoyed though. I don't know if he's very happy with his performance at the moment. Looks like Mrllama getting surrounded once again, cleaving his way to victory.
Yeah, actually, Mrllama not having that much HP compared to everyone else. Actually, I think he has the lowest amount, which is really surprising, being so far ahead here and being one of the highest levels. I guess DEFEKT passing him here at level 20.
See that pretty much all of his rare items don't have life on them except for those boots. And so that's pretty much the only spot he's going to get any life from right now.
I think Mrllama opting to take the links over any stats, which could be hard, definitely hard to trade out, because you can't break up you don't want to break up those links because they're so strong.
Looks like he's gonna be heading into the slums here, And we do have Mr. Defect going into towards this way, towards Vol Oversoul. It's going to be really interesting. Who do you think is going to be number 2 to get to Vol Oversoul? BEATanga here or DEFEKT?
DEFEKT has been showing such a strong catch-up game here. I'm going to have to go with DEFEKT. How about you?
I think I'm pretty sure that they're both in the same zone, so I'm going to say BEATanga, actually. Nogrul going very low on the Weaver. I think he's going to get it down here, no problem, but very close.
I'd really like to see BEATanga and DEFEKT here get to Val around the same time, just so we can see what the damage output is like against a single target such as Val.
It looks like BEATanga did just find the stairs, so definitely has a little bit of advantage here. And interesting to see how much of an advantage that gives you. Finding the stairs in this zone can be a total pain in the butt.
Yeah, it's one of those things. As you find more stairs, the exit actually ends up being pretty close. I mean, it makes sense being a pyramid.
Yeah, it's just one of the most frustrating zones. Act 2, very confusing sometimes, especially for new players. Mrllama dipping low again as he's surrounded, able to survive. He's like low life Mrllama over here. He should just go and pick up Pain Entombment while he's at it.
Yeah, Mrllama, I mean, just ripping through Act 3 already, as all the other players here stuck in Act 2. I mean, DEFEKT and BEATanga are going to be up into Act 3 soon, but Mrllama just getting growing that lead ever so slightly.
So Mrllama actually has 2 faster attacks now. Leap, trying to double up, trying to make up for the fact that he didn't have it there for a while. He's trying to go super fast.
Looks like DEFEKT starting the Val fight here. So he does get there in front of BEATanga, but BEATanga also getting up to Val, so it's going to be a pretty close one.
Hitting that right away, knowing that they have time. Interesting to see how quickly these go and how many peekaboo phases they have to go through.
The thing I like about the mines and the traps here, you can prime those for the boss, so right as they spawn, you get that damage down right away without wasting mana. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, and Vol Oversoul generally does come up wherever you are, so...
and DEFEKT, I believe, doing way more damage than Mrllama was actually here, taking him down so fast. Actually, almost as fast as it takes BEATanga to spawn Val.
Yeah, that was a very fast kill coming out from DEFEKT. Definitely showing the power of his mines right now.
And I think this is what I was looking for with the Fire Nova mine. Like I said before, so good on the AoE, just like that Blast Rain as well as Firestorm. Very good for cleaning up trash mobs and also very good for cleaning up bosses, which is hard to find for any type of skill.
He's definitely got a little bit of everything. I do see somebody in the background of DEFEKT stream talking to him, so he might get a little distracted here. I'm not necessarily sure what's going on with that. Somebody's waving in the background to us.
Maybe that's his coach, that girl back there. Maybe, that's someone who's kind of passing in the secret strats here, getting him to basically almost catch up to Mrllama.
You think that that girl might have gotten a text from Noogie to really kind of help DEFEKT out, get some information into his ear?
It could very well be. I have no idea, but
BEATanga choosing to almost go towards the door, but remembers that it takes forever to open up, so logs out.
Definitely that log out there on Val after the kill is definitely something you want to do. It's just such a long time it takes for the door to open. I don't even understand why it takes so long, to be honest. It's a good, 5-10 seconds? It's really frustrating in a race.
Stayed in that room for it to open in several patches, so and no real reason for it to take forever. It's just very silly, especially because you can log out, you can portal out, do anything, and take the waypoint for the next zone and actually be farther away than the door is. So yeah, it's just very silly. To see Mrllama here leaping his way through, looking for the trial right now. I believe he's back in Act 2. So
yeah, it looks like he's choosing to do the trials in Act 2 instead. I was really confused.
To realizes wrong place, and that would have been interesting if he had gone and cleared out Crypt 2 and got completely lost. How
do you feel about doing Crypt in Act 3? I like to take it in Act 2 just because you get extra EXP here. You're not going to be getting anything for these kills, really. You're going to get a huge EXP penalty, so it's almost not worth killing any of these mobs.
Mrllama is kind of like low on experience in the first place, so the penalty might not be as strict as it would be normally, but generally for me, I do like going to here right away, right after Chamber of Sins too, because like all the skeleton packs are very easy kills for most build. They're low life. Gets a Vault Orb. We'll see if he's going to use that Vault Orb in the ring. Nope, he leaves it on the ground.
I would have definitely liked to see him pick that up just to go for some risky moves. But he does choose to leave it behind. Did you see if DEFEKT actually got the the trials done for Act 2 or not?
I did not catch if DEFEKT got the trials done yet. We'll have to get an update here, maybe from Havoc or the chat. But
DEFEKT getting those 4-link rare gloves could be a huge benefit for him. I'm wondering to see what he's going to do with that. It is, I believe, it's 3 red and 1 green. Or sorry, 3 blue and 1 green.
3 blue, 1 green would be really good for him. I believe you could use Fire Nova Mind, Minefield, Concentrated Effect, and Trap and Mind Damage.
Definitely something that can end up benefiting him quite a bit. Trap and Mind Damage being another green, though, he would have to chromatic that if he wants to stick the Fire Trap in there as well.
Well, I think Fire Nova Minds and all that is all blue. So
yes, he could just move his Minefield, Fire Nova Mind, and Control Destruction over to those gloves. The problem is he's going to lose the +1 level of Sock and Fire Gems on his wand. I'm not sure if he wants to do that.
Yeah, and might not be worth it. It also kind of depends on the stats. Looks like Mrllama is working his way now through the crematorium. So we'll see what's going on with that.
And actually DEFEKT here in the crematorium as well. So if he has done the trials in Act 2, then he's pretty much caught up.
Yeah, Llama is really kind of lost a little bit of ground there. Nogrul working his way towards Vault over Soul as well. BEATanga in Act 3 town. Looks like it looks like DEFEKT is going to be probably the first one to get to the fire floor trial, which is very scary actually. I think out of all the trials, this is my least favorite, because if you flame dash into the fire pit, get stunned by a skeleton, you're quickly going to be respawning. Yes,
this trial is the hardest in my opinion, followed by probably the prison, just because spike traps do a lot of damage, slow you down at any level really, but if you don't have movement skills, both of these trials very tough.
And DEFEKT definitely got through it with ease, though. Looking now for Piety, and a little bit lost, kind of going on a little bit of a ruse cruise, and we'll see if he's able to find Piety here. I believe he also finished the fire floor trial.
Llama showing some cartographer skills here, exploring the entire map of the crematorium.
DEFEKT actually on Piety right now. Did he just catch up and pass?
I think he did. And like I said, DEFEKT TV, one of my picks for number 1. I just love the setup with the Fire Nova Mind. It does so much damage, like I said before, and he has a great Goat's Horn, like I said before. 33% increased spell damage. So hard to beat, especially at such a low level.
Oh, Mrllama also working on Piety right now, and BEATanga working his way towards the crematorium. Wow, that Molten Strike, though, just does so much damage. It feels
tearing through Piety, like you said, and he does kind of gain some ground here, I think, with that kill. Catching back up to DEFEKT.
Right now, his inventory is absolutely chock full of items. Not having that great of item management. I believe Llama's inventory is pretty clean, and so that might take a little bit of time to fix up for a DEFEKT, and that might set him back.
It looks like some people are wondering if DEFEKT here is going to stick with the Fire Nova Mind or switch to Glacial Cascade. I think, judging by what I've seen, he's going to stick with that Fire Nova Mind and also Glacial Cascade, a very high-level gem to use. And I think he's going to want to go into Izaro before he can use that.
I believe Glacial Cascade, 2 factors that probably keep him away from that is that, like you said, level 28. And then you also have to go kill Gravicious. I mean, I guess if you're going to level up to 28, you might as well. But generally, as a caster, you want to try to get in the lab by 26.5 so that you level up to 27 on your way to Izaro.
And let's check out Nogrul here, finally taking on Val. Let's just see what his damage is like compared to those other racers.
Yeah. So he did get a Pikachu phase right away, and getting all of that Firestorm down on Vault Oversoul is busy kiting doing some decent damage. I believe he's using Flame Surge, but I think he almost tanks the slam.
Wow, flame dashing right through that slam. Calculated.
And definitely not scared. And using that Flame Surge after using Flame Dash can get you a lot of damage. Because as long as something's burning, it does take a lot of damage from that Flame Surge. Looks like we do have DEFEKT working his way through the sewers right now. Looks like he's going to be picking up the busts. What are your thoughts on... Actually, it looks like he passed one of the busts.
Passing the bust. If you're going to ask me my thoughts on that quest for the skill point, I feel like one of the busts is always on the left side of this map, and it's just out of the way. And then also to pick up the third one, sometimes not in a line with the exit. I don't think it's worth it, but I don't know. Maybe if you're pressed for skill points or you need some stats through traveling nodes, it might be worth it.
Yeah, I think because you're pretty much passing by it, it's a good skill point to get. And right now we're getting a little bit of a deaths update. Nogrul has 1 death, Mrllama 2, DEFEKT 0, and BEATanga 1. So,
wow, DEFEKT just showing this prowess here. Was behind, had a little bit of worry for me, a little bit of doubt, but definitely making up so much time here with 0 deaths especially. But Mrllama, you know, still sticking in there. Pretty much neck and neck between these two, disregarding the death counter.
Looks like DEFEKT went back to town and is heading back into the slums for some reason. Not really sure what's going on.
Not too sure either. I have no clue what he's doing.
Yeah, it is weird. Definitely losing a lot of the ground that he had just caught up, and Mrllama not making the same mistakes and going way for it.
Oh, it looks like he forgot the waypoint, and he's trying to pick that back up. And he needs that definitely after he talks to Dahlia or Delilah. What's her name? Dahlia? I don't know. To get Diala to pass through to get to the second area of Act 3. So definitely needs that waypoint. If he doesn't have that waypoint, he's going to have to do this anyway. So it's going to be a lot of time to make up, actually, a good minute or two.
Yeah, Lady Diala, definitely, after you talk to her, you got to go back there. But he does get out of there pretty smoothly by not teleporting, and still has his marketplace. So loses a little bit of ground due to that mistake, but that's something we've seen even pro racers make. I believe it was Gucci who ran right past it, then died, respawned right next to it, and then still didn't hit the waypoint. So it's something that even pro racers can make a mistake and miss that sort of thing. Mrllama really leap slamming his way through, and looks like he's going to be killing a essence mob here. Getting surrounded, dipping really low life llama, pulling ahead once again, doing lots of damage on low life, and he's just not scared. Definitely not scared to take the damage. I do see that in the sewers right now is BEATanga, and looks like DEFEKT is going to be working on a trial. I believe Mrllama skipped that. So once again, Mrllama choosing to progress through the map as opposed to doing the trials. That's definitely a strategy that's worked out for him so far, but not getting the full experience that he can as he goes back through these zones.
Hey, Don, what do you get when you cross Mrllama and Diala?
What do you get, Cooterz?
Of course it's the Dalai Lama. Of course.
The Dalai Lama. Looks like DEFEKT actually might be higher level now than Mrllama, although this tool is lagging a little bit for me. So look, they're both 23.
DEFEKT here going into the Roomba trial here. Not hard at all. Roomba, especially with Flame Dash, Leap Slam, you can avoid all damage. And actually, just walking right into him is really not that big of a deal as long as you don't follow them.
Oh yeah, but Roombas can be scary because as soon as you start taking damage, you can forget what you're doing and walk right with them.
I've had many deaths and witnessed many deaths of people freaking out, not really paying attention to the route the Roomba's taking, and ends up just walking with it. Has a nice, walk hand in hand and dies.
BEATanga is deciding to go with the sewers, busts, quests, and looking for the third one right now. Also looking for the exit. Interesting to see which one he finds first. and if he decides to abandon the quest. As he finds the door and is going to look maybe for the busts to finish up this quest.
Look at Nogrul as well. His level, he was, I believe, quite a bit behind, but now only 2 levels behind Mrllama BEATanga. DEFEKT leading the show here with 1 level above everyone else.
Fire Nova Mine really clearing out lots of packs, not leaving any stragglers. You can see like leaving stuff behind as he leaps away from it. And he's definitely doing really good at jumping and getting through the map, but maybe he needs to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, his Flame Dash work really doing a lot here. Like you said, with the Fire Nova Mine, being able to lay it down and just cremate everything here.
Looks like DEFEKT is also doing a little bit different in heading to the docks next, as opposed to heading towards Lady Diala or Lady Delilah, whatever you want to call her.
Lady Delilah. Hey there, Delilah.
Hey there, Delilah.
I'm going to wonder what Mrllama is going to pick up from her. Probably the rare Amber Amulet, just to stick with the strength. Unless he still needs Int. I don't think he's going to be leveling up his Herald of Ash much, but he could pick up Hatred instead.
Yeah, I think it's likely that he'll pick up Hatred, so picking an Int Amulet would be a smart move.
And Mrllama, I believe, opting not to go to the docks, but this is not too odd. Pick up the waypoint, going back to Battlefront, and then go in the docks. I've seen this before. I like to go to the docks first, just to get everything in hand and turn it in, but I don't know. How do you feel about this?
Generally, I go towards Solaris first. Mrllama having a little bit of an inventory issue, trying to figure out where to put his flasks. He just has too much stuff. Do you think maybe he should dump some of this stuff into his stash?
One of the big things for me when I did racing, since this is on softcore, if you have any currency in your stash, it makes it hard to really notice if you actually have, mats to buy anything or to craft anything. I think that might be his reasoning for not dumping it in his stash, just trying to avoid, not cheating, but, accidentally using some of the currency that he had found before.
Looks like he's going to be IDing some things, doing some shopping. It looks like he talked to Grigor, not necessarily sure where to turn in these busts. And he does have some sweet helmets, though. He's got 3 red and a green hat, and that's going to be really good.
Not sure why he's not putting that on right now, just because his helmet is... I guess he needs that int, probably, for Herald of Ash. No, he is switching that out. Okay.
And it looks like he actually did throw away a health potion, which was better than the one that he had. So I'm not sure what he's doing there.
Mrllama, definitely the minimalist here, just dumping things out. Says, I don't need this. I don't care what it sells for. Take it away.
He picked up a Warlord's Mark. That's something that we have not seen, I think, at all in any of the races. What are your thoughts on that?
Warlord's Arc, I mean, getting that extra regen with the endurance charges could really help out, actually. I really like that curse for almost any character that I make, as long as you can use it. It's really strong. Maybe going to pair it with Blasphemy, I'm not sure, but that's going to take a lot of mana reservation.
Yeah, definitely. Blasphemy, I think you get that at 28 or 31, so probably we'll have to self-cast that. And we won't have too much cast speed, I'd guess, from his build. And it looks like he is working for the trial right now, doing it kind of a little bit of a different order. Hasn't done docks yet. Mr. DEFEKT, I believe, has done... Ooh, he gets a false side zone. That's very unfortunate.
Looking here at Nogrul going through those sewers, still quite a bit behind. What do you think he needs to do to make up for that loss of time that he's been kind of running into here?
Well, I know, as we did talk about before, getting move speed boots would be a huge boon for him, and he has picked up 10% move speed boots, but he's really honestly not as far behind. He's been catching up a lot of ground, and he's in Act 3. I'm not sure if he's done all the trials, and if he can just keep pushing forward. As we've seen in a lot of these races, people get into lab early and die. And that can cost you 10, 15, 20 minutes of your time sometimes. So I think he just has to keep his cool, play his game, not worry about everybody else. And if he can do the lab flawlessly, he might just win.
That is very true. Just sticking in there, not dying, and pushing through and hoping that everyone else fails is definitely a strategy. BEATanga dying here to a blue pack. bringing up his death counter, the 2. So tied with Mrllama for deaths at 2 apiece.
Yeah, 2 deaths so far, and like reckless play from Mrllama is working out for him, able to go very fast. He will have to adjust though in the lab, because a single death in the lab can really cost you. He picks up the ribbon spool, heading towards the docks. BEATanga also in the docks. Everybody but Nogrul is kind of in a very similar position right now in this race. It'd be interesting to see what happens here.
Yes, you're right. BEATanga and Mrllama at the docks, but I believe BEATanga has not talked to Dahlia yet. Tiala, sorry, yet. But Delilah, yes. DEFEKT though, picking up the stuff he needs here to advance into the next zone.
Yeah, DEFEKT doing a lot of XPing. Didn't choose to pick up the bus here in the sewer, and I believe he's the first person through the sewers, and is also level 25 to both Mrllama and BEATanga's 23. Nogrul just behind at 21. So DEFEKT actually showing really strong experience here, and really kind of like pulling ahead, I think.
Yeah, like I don't like to keep on beating a dead horse, but like I said before, DEFEKT, I saw his previous VODs, and he is pretty fast, and he's definitely showing it today.
So as some people in the chat were asking about Glacial Cascade, looks like he's not heading towards Gravicious, so probably not thinking about doing that. I wouldn't be surprised to see DEFEKT heading into the lab here very soon. I think that this will be his last trial. I'm not 100% sure. But,
he is level 25, definitely doable for Izaro.
Yeah, very scary though. I believe that you will get one more level on his gem at 27, if I'm not mistaken.
It's possible that DEFEKT looking for a level or 2 in the lab itself, as it is a level 33 zone.
And we do have that confirmed. He would get level 5 Fire Nova Mine at level 27. So all he needs really is about another level or so. I think he'd be pretty confident heading into the lab. And I'd put him in the lead right now behind Mrllama.
And did Llama here use the essence crafting on that heavy broad axe for the 46% increased physical damage? Should really help him.
This trial can be very difficult. Hit by the poison darts and knocked down in one hit. He makes it through safely. Still no deaths from DEFEKT.
DEFEKT really showing his experience here with that practice, I think, helping him out. Like you said, 0 deaths, in the lead, and just rocking that Fire Nova Mine all the way through Act 3.
Mrllama picking up the Amber Amulet. And we also have BEATanga working his way towards Lady Delilah as well. Where do you think we're going to see DEFEKT going next?
I'm not too sure. I think it looks like he's going to kill Gravicious here. I'm not sure what he's actually doing. What can he get from this reward?
Thought would be like Glacial Cascade Binds. So maybe he's gonna like over level a lot and get up to 28. But it looks like he's maybe getting some experience farming going on in here instead of doing docks.
Yeah, I'd like to see docks. He does portal back. I'm not sure what he was doing there. Maybe he made a mistake and thought he had to go that far. But he is looking like he's looking at his map and he's going back to the battlefront.
Yeah, it looks like he's laughing and joking and realizing that it's the battlefront that touches the docks, not the barracks. So we do have in the hedge maze Mrllama. We'll see if he's able to make it through the traps without dying. This zone can be pretty well known for getting you surrounded by devourers and eaten alive.
This Devourer's doing so much damage. As you see, Mrllama getting so low there. Oh my gosh, he lives again from those 2 Devourers.
Life Llama getting away ever so slightly, 406 HP, and he just has like no HP, but he manages to survive. He's just very comfortable right down there in the double digits. Havoc says 13 HP. Wow.
Look at the face of Mrllama. Doesn't care. He says, you know what? I almost died, but I didn't. And I'm just going to power through this. Not going to like linger on it. Not going to care about it. Just push right through.
Does have 2 broad axes. One does have 46% increased physical damage, and it looks like he's just vendoring some weapons, so maybe he had tried to craft, but he might try to go into the lab right now.
It's going to be a pretty strong choice here. Lab, like I said, pretty difficult today, especially if you are under leveled with those gargoyles, as well as the portals. Getting that surround is nothing you want to have to deal with, or something you don't have to want to deal with. But Leap Slam gonna get Mrllama out of a lot of binds, I believe.
So one thing I do notice with Mrllama is he has 3 mana flasks now, losing a life flask, picking up mana flask. He doesn't have the I believe giant potions yet for health, which means that those don't have 3 usage, and that's going to be pretty hard.
Yes, and I'm looking at BEATanga and Nogrul. Both of them opting still not to use a chess piece. Kind of odd. How do you feel about that? I know they get a movement speed penalty, but kind of odd being at level 20, 22, and 24.
I think that's okay unless you find something that's really amazing.
And it looks like Nogrul did rip there, bringing up his death counter to 2.
Mrllama went into the lab, but I believe came back out for some more resistances. Something. He's doing some shopping. He's a little bit ahead. He can head in earlier. He's, I believe, only level 23 or so.
Yeah, and DEFEKT here just farming XP in the docks. Level 26. I feel like he's going to want to jump into lab very soon. Like you said, level 27, able to level up that gem for him. So
BEATanga heading into the lab as well at 24.
Wow, 24. 23 on Llama. I don't know if Llama's... Yeah, he is going to lab. We are having a pretty close race here.
This is going to be very close. 24, 23, both extremely low level. 24, you're like several levels away from a lot of your levels of your gems.
It is a 10 level deficit here in the zone for Mrllama. That is huge.
It's going to be interesting. And looking at today's normal lab layout from polab.com, as I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with, in the first zone, there is a trinket that would disable one of the portals like automatically as soon as you damage it.
There is a reliquary here in the first zone. Definitely something I'm going to think they're going to want to pick up. But the Dark Shrines, not a very good Dark Shrine layout, as they don't really come until close to the last trial.
Looks like BEATanga is actually going to be skipping the trinket, so he's not going to be able to pick it up.
It's very interesting.
Left. We haven't seen very few players, though, pick up any of the trinkets, which kind of blows my mind as it simplifies the fight drastically.
That is true. I think this first reliquary, or this trinket, not as big of a factor as the gargoyle one, so maybe we'll see him pick up the heart of the gargoyle to help out with that.
Level 22, still 2 large life flasks.
Llama and BEATanga going into that first trial here against Izaro. Let's see how they do.
There's going to be portals and messing around with the gear. It's going to be side by side. Mrllama on the left, BEATanga on the right. Essence, Strength, and Cleave, both very different skills.
And it looks like Mrllama, yeah, opting just to buff him. Gets really low again twice there, but lives. And he's just chunking him down and just hoping, you know. Oh, he's working on the portals now.
Working on the portals now. Low life Llama getting away ever so slightly. Oh, BEATanga gets hit by his slam. Looks like we also have DEFEKT in the lab as well. I've probably got a little bit of a notification. Hey, everybody else is in the lab. You need to be too.
That's very true. You kind of want to push yourself, but sometimes, you know, not the best thing to do to rush, as one death in the lab is a huge time sink.
Llama dipping low again, all out of life flasks. 3 mana flasks, looking rather full. I think he's probably going to look to switch into 3 life flasks.
And let's see how DEFEKT does here on this trail. See if he can catch up to Llama and BEATanga. Llama just doing a lot of AoE damage here, as well as BEATanga. Both of them handling them pretty well. Llama did drop low a few times, as well as BEATanga, but it seems like they have this one under control.
Yeah, DEFEKT working on Izaro phase 1 as well. And
DEFEKT, look at that damage coming out from the Fire Nova mines. Just so much damage.
2 little fire waves killing all the skeletons, killing the portals very quickly.
I believe DEFEKT did pick up the trinket, as that first portal did go down very quickly. I didn't realize. Did Llama just die there?
It out or die.
Wow, Llama, I believe I'm not sure if he ripped, but he definitely did move out.
Definitely ripped. That's one of the dangers about going into the lab too early, is that it's very easy to die. He only has 2 life flasks, and
Oh wow, look at Defect going solo as well, but he lives. Oh, this is just one of those things where you can't be too hard on yourself if you die, because other people or other racers will most likely die in the lab, as it's such a huge fight for them, being like 10 levels below or so.
though at level 27 with an experience,
Actually
started phase 2, started phase 1 before, like after both of these other 2 guys, and is the first one to finish.
And
So
Defect, let's see if he opts to go for this first Dark Shrine, as there is one, but it's a side room. What do you think he's going to do here?
I think he's gonna get the trinket, and then just judging by the direction he's running, I think he's gonna skip the Dark Shrine. I don't think there's too many Dark Shrines that's gonna help him out.
That's very true. I think if he gets Acceleration Shrine, very good for helping you dodge Izaro's moves there for sure, as well as the Regeneration Shrine, not bad, just to be able to help you with flask management.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look how fast Llama goes back into the fight though on phase 1.
Llama dies.
Oh, Llama just
though.
crushed. He just gets stuck in that corner, and Izaro just punishes him so hard. And DEFEKT going into phase 2, like you said, picks up the trinket, but does opt to not pick up the Dark Shrine.
Looks like BEATanga also picking up the Heart of the Gargoyle, which will kill the first gargoyle. Little trick I like to do is to hit the Quicksilver Gargoyle first. You can mouse over them, figure out which one it is, and you can kill it even when it's like in its immune phase.
You can. It's just much harder. But Quicksilver Gargoyle, I believe, being one of the main focuses. And like you said, with the trinket, you can kill it while it's invulnerable, or not invulnerable, but resistant. Quicksilver basically giving Izaro movement speed, or that's what it does. The other 2, steel. I believe there's a steel gargoyle and possibly a basalt gargoyle, giving Izaro, damage reduction and added damage.
Looks like he took down that first gargoyle pretty easily, and it's like kiting the other one. Fire Nova Mine's doing so much work,
crushing this lab right now. He did have one little hiccup where he almost died, but he did recover very nicely. I think he might go for a Dark Shrine, but like you said, not many that's going to help. Maybe he'll just opt to run straight for phase 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he... Ooh,
getting really low there.
Low.
But does trigger Izaro's next and final phase. Or rather, makes it through second phase.
Big smile on his face, scratches the neck. He knows he's in the lead, knows he's doing well. His chat's feeding him the information. And
but BEATanga actually close behind here on phase 2, does get the trinket, takes out a gargoyle. I believe it was a Quicksilver. Working on this second one here, which is the, I believe it's the steel. I can't see because of his follower goal, but he's doing really well, actually. He's hanging in there.
Speed boots. He has 15% move speed boots and Arctic armor. This makes this fight very, very easy compared to like if you don't have either of those. Tanks a slam though anyways. Mrllama back on the portal. Let's see if he gets barraged to death immediately.
Yes, let's see. He does sit in the corner again, but he just takes that damage and says, it's okay, I'll brush that off. No one choosing to run Culling Strike. Maybe they haven't swapped it in. I didn't see anyone buy it. Did you see anyone pick that up?
I did not see anybody pick that up. Also, I noticed now that Mrllama's rings are 2 ruby rings, saying, don't fucking barrage me.
Oh, he gets so low again. Oh my gosh. Llama living on the edge here.
Low life Llama barely
Look at his
surviving.
face. It does not change. He no emotion, no reaction. Says, I have a job to be done. I'm going to do it.
That is very scary indeed. Looks like BEATanga gets down all the gargoyles. All he has to do now at this point is just play it safe, beat the lab. And
leveling up there, I believe level 28. Such a high level compared to the other racers here.
I think BEATanga could still pull this out though. If
going down again to Izaro. He's saying, I have no idea. What do I do? Seems like he's getting a little emotional on this one. Hopefully he can recover though. He is having a good time, I believe, but there is definitely some frustration there.
One-on-one coaching sessions with Cute Dog about positive mental attitude have been paying off as he's able to keep a smile on his face.
Starting the last and final stage of Izaro, I believe this could be the win here, but let's just hope he doesn't choke.
Yeah, he does have a decent amount of HP. Looks like that is 667, so just one more than would be bad luck. But he could die.
Look at him just kiting Izaro, making Izaro have to do 360 spins here. And that Fire Nova Mine, having such a large AoE, doesn't need to stand too close to him, so he's able to kite him fairly efficiently. Does take some damage, though. Yes, going down to half health, and he... Oh, wow. I don't know if he dodged one of those moves there, but he did get hit down to half again, and keeps on taking those slams there.
I think
that is risky.
He has a mob spaghetti. He has no health pots right now.
He's so low. Izaro's so low now. All he needs is about maybe 3 or 4 more Fire Nova Mines. Can he do it? He has no more potion charges except for one use.
If he had Culling Strike right now,
he would have got it. And just one more mine, I think, is going to take the takedown of Izaro here. But he is being very gingerly stepping around this because he has no flash charges. And there is the kill. Nope. Sorry, he did not get it yet.
Hasn't happened yet. Gets a donation.
He gets a donation. I thought he got the kill there, but he did not. Look at Izaro. Okay, there's the kill. And you can see the 4 over DEFEKT's face. So relieved. That was a good time for him, I believe. 1 hour, 34 minutes, and no deaths there. Amazing.
Very strong showing from DEFEKT. Can we get some easy claps in the chat for DEFEKT? Level 28 Shadow.
It looks like BEATanga taking his sweet time here after phase 2. Just kind of, slow and steady here in the lab. I think that is definitely a good choice. Because like we were saying before, a death in the lab is a huge time sink, showing Mrllama here, basically playing that part there. 5 deaths for him.
Actually higher level than Mrllama is right now at 24. He's on his way through the Undying blockage.
Oh, and there's the coach walking the DEFEKT channel. She's congratulating him, dons the cap. Was that the fedora? What was that, bowler?
I think that is some sort of bowler.
I believe that is a bowler. He puts on the bowler, takes the crown here, and says, I am #1. Tip of the cap there.
Oh, yeah. I think that was right at you. He must be a Redditor. Mrllama back in town once again. Purity of elements.
I don't know how Mrllama is going to make up for this deficit. Nogrul may be able to catch up here, even though he's never set foot in lab yet. He doesn't have nearly as many deaths, and he might actually have the edge because he has 1 level above Llama. Maybe Llama should have went back and leveled a bit more. What do you think?
I think Llama should have 100% leveled to at least 25. Because then he gets better weapons, better flasks. His flasks suck right now. He's using 2 life flasks. Does he really need these many mana flasks?
I don't think he does. I think he should have pulled in the 3rd health pot. But here we go. BEATanga starting the last stage of Izaro. Let's see how he does here.
Slam. Ooh, he's getting really low there. He does have giant life flasks, though, which do give you 3 uses as opposed to 2. So that is a big advantage for him, sniping with his Essence Drain and doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, that AoE clear on the Izaro mobs, doing a lot of work. Oh, he does take a little bit of damage, but he overall is doing pretty well with this, dodging most of the slams from Izaro, and it's just a lot of clean work here by BEATanga.
Yeah, he's moving pretty quickly despite having that Harbinger slowing aura on you. Kiting around, I do believe he also has 15% move speed boots, which definitely helps counter that aura. But yeah, I don't think he's going to die here. Like, generally, like, as Essence Drain, it's pretty safe against Izaro. You don't have to get as close as Fire Nova Mines. You're leaving this, like, behind you everywhere you go, so very safe.
Like you said, if he plays how he's been playing through this lab, he's definitely going to have this one in the bag. Check out Nogrul. His HP 728. So much HP, more than everyone else, actually.
You'll see he's heading back into Chamber of Sins 2. Might have forgotten that trial. And then I think he might even head into the lab here. And if Mrllama doesn't keep dying, then
Nogrul definitely has a chance to catch up the Llama. He does have a 3 death lead on him, so that's 3 minutes.
I actually think Llama has 4 deaths.
Yes, you're right. 4. Excuse me.
So that's almost like an entire phase 3 fight. So,
And
I hope people
BEATanga
are
here.
letting Nogrul know that he does still have a chance to get 3rd place.
And BEATanga here, taking it really slow. Really long fight here on Izaro, but it looks like he has this one. He actually goes pretty low. Has so many flasks though. I think he's going to be fine as long as he doesn't play too cocky or aggressively. He should get the kill here in the next 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, 3 life flasks and a Quicksilver. He's very quick and able to heal up pretty quickly. Should get it anytime. There it is.
There it is. He gets that 2nd place here. Hats off the BEATanga guys. Easy claps for him. He did a really good job actually pulling a lot of ground there near the end.
Definitely, I think he was the first one into the lab. He died correctly. Correct, or?
Yeah, BEATanga having, I think, 2 deaths here. Not a lot at all. I mean, compared to Llama here with 6, but Llama still chewing his way through Izaro on that first phase. Gets very low again. Doesn't take out that mana flask. I'm not sure about that. I'd like to see him swap in a 3rd health flask because it seems like he's been having a lot of flask management issues.
Flask management being very important. Oh, 30 HP.
34 HP, walks away. Oh, and then he does take that last hit. Izaro taking him down once again. I believe that accounts for what? 4 deaths just to Izaro, so 4 or 5?
It's actually sick, like 5 deaths to Izaro. I think a giant life flask's something he really needs here.
He did throw out that giant life flask, I believe, and instead of keeping the large one, or sorry, he kept the large flask instead of swapping them out. Maybe that's really killing him here.
So right now he is level 23. Giant
he doesn't
life
have that scroll of wisdom. He does have portal scrolls. He can sell those in. Opts to put in 5 chromatic orbs.
He has not a lot of life though. He, like comparatively,
no,
he
is not at all. He does end up taking that health flask. I think he decided, you know what, I need to do something here. Get that 3rd flask in and try again. Or maybe he's going to choose. Nope, he goes right back in the trial. Doesn't want to level up. I think I would rather level up in Docs just to get that 1 extra point and, you know, get a little bit more HP and stats. He's so close. I mean, it would only take him probably about a minute at most.
Yeah, I definitely think that he, like, even in here, he could level up and then be able to use giant life flasks for when if he dies again. Nogrul doing some gearing, heading towards the lab. About a 5-minute lead here on Mr. Llama in the lab at the moment due to the deaths.
Now it looks like DEFEKT and BEATanga just chilling out here waiting. I wonder if they're looking at their competition, seeing how everyone else is doing, knowing that they had quite the lead.
Something I've noticed too about Mr. Llama is that he has not gone for trinkets a single time in this lab. He's, just dealing with all of the portals. And I think that's a huge mistake. I think people keep undervaluing the trinkets in these runs, but trinkets really make or break your run.
Definitely, the trinkets are very strong. Like I said, heart of the gargoyle. But the thing is, Llama still hasn't even made it. I don't think to phase 2 of Izaro.
But he could break the
he gets so low again. Mr. Llama just face taking that barrage. He says, I need to move out of the way this time. Oh man, he's just every time that barrage is getting him. He just needs to figure out that rotation and just dodge that barrage, because I feel like that's the biggest thing for him right now.
The barrage killing him off screen. Probably why he's having a little bit difficult time dealing with it.
Oh, and he takes the face slam right there. Face takes a slam and brings him down so low.
Was that single-digit HP?
How do you feel about Mr. Llama swapping in a decoy totem as utility here? Maybe that would help him. I don't know. I mean, I know his Ancestral Protector helping him out with damage and attack speed. But I don't know. Maybe a decoy totem would help him out with, dodging that barrage.
Decoy totem is very helpful. It does help out with
barrage.
And he dies again, putting Nogrul into the lead for sure right now.
And it does look like DEFEKT pulling up Havoc's stream, watching his competition, enjoying this, basking in the moment. He is the victor here. 1 hour, 34 minutes, 0 deaths.
Nogrul very low there right now. He does have 2 giant life flasks. So in terms of flasks, I think Nogrul does have a huge advantage. Looks like Mr. Llama is leveling up. So he's going to try to get out there.
I think this is a
beat
smart
on by
move.
some mobs. He might die here just to plain mobs. Nope, he survives.
Nogrul getting very, very low. I think almost probably double digits there, but he is still alive. Opting to go with a Quicksilver, 2 and 2 for these health and monopots. And he's going to get very low again. No charges left on those health flasks. He's going to have to defeat Izaro's mobs. But he's just so low, down to the teens.
Doesn't even look like he... So one of the problem with these flask charges back. So while he does have some regen, looks like he is just running in circles, trying to survive. That's really all he can do at this point. Maybe drop a flame totem as well.
He's gonna have to focus on those skeletons to get those charges back, because there's no other way. As you're saying, those mobs from the portals not gonna help you out in any way. Does get the flash charges back, and he does quickly hit those back in this fight.
It seems like so like he has 3 portals up completely. Like if he had
if you had that trinket, it would be a different story here, but definitely getting overwhelmed with these mobs. These mobs are very, very hard that are getting summoned from the portals.
Doesn't seem like he's going for the portals. Like seems like he's just trying to kill all the stuff in the middle.
I'm not sure about this. Fully buffing Izaro here for the last fight. Doable, but he's showing it to be very tough.
Like just dropping a flame totem on a portal at a time and keeping...
Oh, and he goes down to a swing from Izaro. Mrllama here making his way back to Izaro. Do you think he's going to go for the trinket this time, or do you think he's just going to go right into the fight?
He's playing a little differently. He's killing stuff. Maybe he's like rethought his strategy. He is now level 24. Picking up some experience, goes right past the trinket room once again. So, no. Definitely no trinkets from Mrllama.
Mrllama says, you know what? I don't need the trinket. I'll show you how it's done. I got the extra health pot. Maybe that's going to do it. Here he goes into the Aspirin's trial. Do you have predictions on this one? Do you think he'll make it through finally? A casual no from Don here. I have faith in Llama. He's shown so much prowess in the beginning. He did get a little bit possibly tilted, but the PMA, I think, is flowing through him. He's going to hop in there. He doesn't have any flash charges, though, on his 2 health flasks. Not a good start at all. And he almost goes down right away. Oh, my goodness.
Hovering over his flasks. Totally confused about what's going on. Very interesting start to this fight.
He's getting low. He has to use that flask, but he doesn't want to because he only has about another usage, and he gets so low again. Needs to kill those mobs once they spawn.
I think
he's hacking at the portals here. I'd like to see him use. I think he forgets to use his totem sometimes. Definitely needs to keep that down as much as possible. Tanking some of that barrage damage, but he is doing fairly well here. Actually, taking down these portals way faster than any of the other competitors, I believe.
Having just him and that totem beating on that with cleave is pretty quick. But he's not using Molten Strike anymore, which I think is a better single target for sure.
Definitely. I think he should have swapped in the links here for Izaro with that added fire.
We will have to confirm here, but he is jumping around, still playing it very cool.
Getting so low again. Oh no! He does die with the leap slam in mid-air shot right there by Izaro. Sweeps the legs from out from under him. Goes down again. I believe that's what, 6 kills for Izaro here?
Yeah, Nogrul does have literally twice of Llama's HP, so has a big advantage. I think he just needs to get back in the lab. Looks like he's probably trying to aim towards 27. Plenty of time here still on the clock. As long as players get into the labyrinth by 2 hours, they're able to keep going.
Now, the 1 minute death penalty timer, not actually too punishing. I mean, 5 deaths, 5 minutes, seems like a lot, but sometimes, you know, it doesn't actually play too much of a role. 2 minutes would be really, really, really bad for these people.
Well, Mrllama, known for setting some records, I think he might set the first double-digit death counter here on the Havoc Noogie community races. So that will be certainly interesting. Because he's currently at 9.
Look at all that life on Nogrul, 846.
I'm being corrected. Freak has the record at 18 deaths. So what do you think? Do you think Mrllama can catch up to Freak's
I think the clock might stop before Llama hits that 18. But if we had a lot of time, he could definitely surpass that.
Well, he'll definitely be number one non-alt start.
Of course, we need to compare the types of races. If it is an Act 5 Katapa fight, definitely a lot more playtime in there. Not playtime, but rather different risks for sure, areas to cover, different type of mobs and everything. But sitting here,
the first zone, let's see if he goes for the trinket. Please turn left right now, Nogrul. I need you to turn left for me, please. He has Vol discipline right now, a little bit, but then turn back away.
DEFEKT going over his programs here, taking the time to chat in the Discord, getting congrats, I'm sure, from his fellow community. Mr. Llama, though, opting to go back to the battlefront, just killing some mobs. I think he says, I need more levels.
Nogrul almost has, with Energy Shield, effective health.
His effective HP, like touching there, almost to 1,979.
It's almost
very impressive. Almost.
Going for that first portal right away. Still no trinket. Does a lot of damage though right away. Tanks jump, but has so much hit points that he just doesn't give a rat's ass.
Takes that shot to the face, down to about 200 HP. Does walk away though.
It does a really good job of getting that first portal down right away. We did see last time he was struggling really hard, just running in circles. And so it looks like he's really doing a great job of focusing on these portals. And I think he's going to be able to get this. We're getting really low. Mr. Llama also leveling right now. Nogrul is just has a chance here to pull in third place.
I think he definitely does, especially with that death penalty on his side. But Mr. Llama, I don't know. I really don't know, but I think Mr. Llama is going to have a very, very difficult time catching
Nogrul right now half health, which is still a lot of health, but and only one life flask to be used. Pretty scary situation to be in right now.
Nogrul with half health, but just as much actually as Mr. Llama's 100% health. Oh, and he goes down there to Izaro in the corner. Never a good place to be against Izaro. He's definitely going to hit those barrages. You're going to get body blocked by his minions. You just cannot spend your time in those corners.
Yeah, I think focusing in on the corner just a little too much goes right back into the lab. Not bothering to do anything else. He's just going to go for it. Please, somebody let him know. Trinkets! Exclamation point. Right now we have
Mr. Llama taking any pointers from his chat. Do you think Nugi maybe came in and said, hey, pick up that Enduring Cry. It's going to do really well against that mob density here on the Izaro fight?
Definitely would be a really good choice for Mr. Llama because following Nugi's advice has worked out for other racers in the past. Nogrul trying to buy some more life flasks, selling some stuff. And I think you could probably drop a mana flask here. Maybe he'll drop Quicksilver. Drops Quicksilver.
And like I said before, DEFEKT, just watching his competitors basking in that glory. Who do you think he's cheering on here?
I bet he's cheering for Nogrul.
Nogrul definitely the lower, I guess you would say, on the polls. I think was he like the least likely to win, I believe?
I believe on the poll, Nogrul was actually third place. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get third place and pull it away from the crowd favorite, Mr. Llama SC. But Mr. Llama heading into Phase 1 Izaro again. Will he do it, or will this be Death 10?
I don't know. The Enduring Cry pickup gonna help out, but I'm looking at his HP, and it's very, very low for level 24, in my opinion.
So he does. Oh, he moves and he jukes the barrage. New development here.
Switching to that magma, or maybe he's listening or taking some pointers with that single target damage. I think that is a wise choice.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't think Enduring Cry is going to help him out too much because I'm not sure he really knows how it works too much. I saw him reading the gem. Oh, almost dies to a slam. But having those 3 endurance charges are helping him out. So if he can keep those up, we'll see that he might survive here. Cleaving down those portals very quickly. He's working on the second one right now.
Wow, I think he
Nogrul.
dodged that jump by Izaro there.
Yeah, very lucky for him. 3 health pots. Not really good 3 health pots, but definitely
Oh,
working
what
out.
happened there? That was weird. Did you see that? Mrllama freezing in time. I'm not sure if Izaro able to do that normally, but hashtag rigged on that one.
Looks like he just ate a bunch of barrages from 2/3 health. So definitely deleted indeed.
Definitely deleted, but it looked like he was stuck in midair there. Some Neo effect going on. I'm not sure about that one. Call GGG because
Chris Wilson
that ain't right.
weighing in. He's saying, I want the Viking warrior Nogrul to win. No more llamas in my labyrinth at all. Just deleted him. Delete the whole character, actually. He has to recreate.
Nogrul going with that kind of slow and steady strategy here, approach. Taking his sweet time. I mean, that Firestorm, carrying him through Act 3, but it's just not a lot of damage, even paired with the Flame Totem. Do you think this is something that should have been swapped out?
No, I think, Firestorm does do a lot of damage. There's not really too many options for him at this point. Looking at his specific links, though, doesn't look like his Flame Totem is linked to anything, whereas Flame Surge is still hooked up to Arcane Surge and lightning damage. So maybe switching those two things around would have been a good call. Looks like he does have a 4 link, so Firestorm, Concentrated Effect, Faster Casting, Control Destruction. He should be doing a lot of damage. I'm not 100% positive that portals can be cursed, but something else that he could be breaking out as well. And since there are so many mobs in a huge area that he's going to be hitting on, might as well be cursing them as well to make them take more damage.
I'm wondering if hooking up flammability to a totem instead of using, because he's not even using that flame totem too much. It does a little bit of damage, but I'm not sure if the curse would actually end up doing more damage than the flame totem itself. What do you think?
The curse might actually do more damage, but is having something for Izaro to hit that's not you is always a good idea.
Does make it through phase 1 of Izaro though, and Mrllama still struggling here, but back at it. Let's see if he can do it this time.
Looking to rack up number 11, but we'll see if Mr. Low Life Llama is able to pull it out. He does have only one use of life flask
Choosing
right
not
now.
to use the flask though at half health, I don't know about that. That's pretty risky.
Yeah, 200 HP, very low, very, very low. I think Mr. Llama has to keep himself topped off as much as possible if he wants to survive. And he looks like he's going to be ignoring all of the casters as well. And
so low there. Nogrul picking up the trinket. Looks like he is going towards the second phase. He's going to skip that Dark Shrine.
Picking up the trinket, really good choice. I think that's something that they should be doing for both phases. As we've seen so far, portals, not so easy. So using the trinket against them, very good. Nogrul heading into phase 2 Izaro right now, pulling ahead of Mr. Llama. Even if Mr. Llama was able to catch up to him completely.
Oh, Mr. Llama's so low again. Oh my gosh.
Low Life Llama getting away one more time. Let's see. Nogrul breaks his first gargoyle and is working on the second one.
Nogrul doing pretty well on this phase so far. Hasn't taken much chunk damage. Has full flask charges on everything, but does go pretty low here as that gargoyle jumps on him with the barrage.
Something interesting that I learned actually through racing is that you cannot curse gargoyles until they're active. They are immune to
gargoyles.
curses.
Nearly impossible at this level to kill until they are active.
You can't curse them at all either. So even if you wanted to slap flammability on there, I would not be able to do it.
He is actually making a lot of work of that flame totem this time around, so maybe the flame totem being the better choice over a curse totem.
Yeah, definitely doing a good job kiting around those gargoyles. Ooh, dips very low though. Those giant life flasks really showing their strength as Mr. Llama really wishes he...
Dying again, Mr. Llama. Wow, having a really tough time. How do you... Putting yourself in this situation, having almost double-digit deaths, or actually having double-digit deaths, not even making it past phase 1, do you just call it? Do you throw in the towel and say, I'm done? Or do you just keep at it?
At it. I've definitely had a race where I did not finish before, and while very frustrating, I just keep going until either the time's out or he's dead. So you gotta keep pushing on it, gotta keep working on things. The real problem is that he should have leveled should have leveled way too late. His weapons, not really all that great. He's got one with, each one's got a little bit of physical damage. So he didn't get lucky in that regard. But he also has like no life on any of his gear. So he could have been farming docks for the last like 20 minutes and would be like level 32 in a great spot. But right now he's, pretty much done.
I definitely think Llama pushing into lab way too early, being level 23, 10 levels under, and you see the BM come out from Zizarin here, never 100 in the chat.
Never 100. Wow. Someone called Llama. He's crying right now.
I think Llama does need a pick me up here. I think he's throwing in the towel. He's just sitting here. He's explaining, his hardships for this Izaro fight. I think he's just saying, I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. Nuji, maybe,
heading
something
towards the third phase. So, maybe Nugi needs to get in there and help him out with his PMA. Maybe Q-Dog needs to come in from Chicago to help out to get that PMA up.
He does have a few racers in the chat that I can see. DC Lara as well as Zizarin. Maybe they could throw a bone his way or give him a pick me up. Nogrul skipping the Dark Shrine. I don't think he went for it. Interesting choice, just because it is on that map. There are two of them before the last and final phase. I don't think anyone opted for the Dark Shrine. Interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, skipping Dark Shrines and skipping trinkets. I think especially this race has shown that that's a mistake. I think everybody died in the lab except for DEFEKT, correct?
DEFEKT, yeah, showing that pros, like I said before, no deaths. 1 hour 34 minutes, I believe. Just very impressive. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, very solid. Nogrul definitely showing his determination, working his way through. Everybody kind of written him off, but hasn't given up, moving forward. And
BEATanga jumping on his ult here and just running around like a madman. I think he's taking his victory lap here. Second place for him.
Yeah, and looks like time is about to expire for Mr. Llama to get into the lab, which will make it so that he will not be able to finish. Nogrul working on his way. He's, I believe, one door away from the final phase of Izaro, which should be pretty easy relative to the other phases he had to deal with. Just don't get cocky, don't get overconfident, and just deal the damage to Izaro and stay safe.
Here we go. Last and final phase for Izaro for Nogrul here. Do you think he's going to make it? I always feel the last phase is usually the easiest as long as you don't fully buff him.
Yeah, definitely the easiest. I do see that he does have 2 flasks that are only on 1 charge left, which is kind of a hard situation to be in. But if he keeps just playing it safe, letting that flame totem do damage, not getting hit by slams like that right there he dodged, this should be easy. I don't think he has Culling Strike, which kind of was a mistake, but he's doing very good. He hasn't barely had to touch his flasks at all yet, and is tanking very little damage.
Using that flame dash very effectively, dodging those leap slams from Izaro. Showing a lot of mechanics here. It does take a little bit of damage here and there, but still doing fairly well at not getting hit by most of these skills.
Very good job avoiding damage. And
he is a little low on that health flash charge, though. He only has 1 left, so about two uses. He can pick up some charges from these mobs, though. Oh, he's getting very, very low.
189 HP right there. Really, really low.
And this is one of those things where you could get very complacent on the last and final phase of Izaro because you feel like you've got it in the bag. You feel like it's over. You've done the hard stuff. But becoming complacent here causes a lot of mistakes.
And notice Nogrul taking a little bit of time here to hit his life flasks. But still, you got to remember, like, with him at half health, he's basically at Mr. Llama's health. So that is
very true. Mr. Llama very low on the HP, showing such a strong early and mid game, but really choking under that pressure. I think just pushing into lab far too early.
Yeah, some people definitely do have a hard time finishing up in this type of race. Going through the zones as quick as possible is a good thing up to a point, and then you have to be able to kill Izaro.
Ooh, and then Nogrul going pretty low. How do you feel about Nogrul not using any auras here?
Possibly a mistake, but at this point, it's really just about getting that finish. And
it's very true.
The thing that would be the most
so low on mana, doesn't hit the potion, and phase tanks 1 hit from Izaro, and even seemingly tries to want him. There we go, and he does complete with the time of around 2 hours, give or take, and I believe 2 deaths.
Yeah, 2 hours, 2 minutes. I believe he had a total of 4 deaths, and so he might be mind over matter. Not 100% sure.
That's
But
true.
Easy claps in the chat, please, for the Viking, Mr. Nogrul, and also easy claps for Mr. Llama, who chose not to complete.
I feel like this is a good display of how you might be far behind, but not necessarily going to finish in last place. Nogrul was way behind all of the racers throughout this whole race, and shows that he can catch up and even surpass and overtake the person who was in the lead for the majority of the race. Just quite a turn of events here between Nogrul and Mr. Mrllama.
Makes these races very fun because the person who's in the lead can throw it all away, and the person who we've kind of written off can come back up and get first place even sometimes. So these races are always very interesting. I think we're going to get an interview here with DEFEKT whenever we're ready. So let's pull him in here. I think he's in here. He's just muted.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, hello there.
Hello, DEFEKT. Congrats, by the way. A very strong showing.
Damn it. Oh, this is the interview, right?
This is the interview, yes.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, man. It was so much fun. I really did not expect to win that at all.
So how do you feel about your time? Are you basically okay with it? Do you think
I'm very happy. I'm very happy. Like I had one run this morning, and I did like 140, and that's basically it. Then I did some a few Act 2 runs, and that's basically it. So I've never really played mines before, or really raced like ever since season 3 or 4. So it was so much fun. I had some pretty good RNG right off the bat, I'd say. But
yeah, you did have a very strong go turn there with about a 33% or so spell damage buff. Very strong. I did watch some of your VODs before, and I think you pulled in a very similar time with Fire Nova Mines, but very strong showing, like I said.
Thanks. Can I just really quick read out my haiku for winning?
Definitely.
Thank you, Izaro, my dear friend. Thank you, Izaro, I killed you again. Thank you, stream, you make me so proud. Thank you for the follows, Izaro got plowed. I am no Rice QT, but I will be online again tomorrow on Twitch TV.
Easy claps there for sure. Definitely not something Mr. Llama I think can relate to, but a very good haiku.
Rather long haiku, but a very good haiku. What made you decide to go with Fire Nova Mines for this race?
Wait, give me 1 second. There's like some echo going on here. I'm just gonna close that. Sorry, what was the question?
What made you decide to go with Fire Nova Mines for this race?
Actually, I went to see an old video of Rice QT commenting on a race like from a year ago, and this dude was playing Fire Nova Mines, and it looked pretty strong. And then I saw that Freak played it recently in the remote mine or whatever race, and I figured, okay, it looks safe. I'm gonna try it out because I'm like, I wouldn't dare to go cleave or anything like that because I feel like you're pretty much relying on getting some good drops or actually being good at the game. But Fire Nova Mines is really like, it's easy.
Okay. And how many times did you practice with Fire Nova Mines?
Twice, I think, this morning, and yeah, that's it basically. I had one real run, and then I just I went for it.
Two runs and pulling out the win. 134, pretty easy. We just had some chat about your coach there in the background. What type of advice were they giving?
Did that get leaked? I never expected that. Well, I mean, Gucci Prada helped me out along the way, but I feel like my delay was too bad. So every time he wrote something, I got it like way too late. So I wouldn't say that carried me this time, but it was definitely nice to have the support of the guys in stream for sure.
We were talking more about the person in person behind you.
Oh, in person? Oh shit! Sorry, that's my girlfriend. Yeah, she was supporting me along the way. She actually just brought me McDonald's, so that's cool.
Wow, yeah, definitely something there that will help you along the way. McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
Refueling. How do you feel about mines now that you've done it for racing? It definitely shows that it's very strong. Do you feel like you're going to actually make a long-term character with mines?
Oh no, I absolutely hate mines. I prefer some faster clear speed based builds. But I mean, probably for a shaper killer or something, it's pretty strong. But I don't know. It was just for the race, I'd say.
So you did get up to around, I believe, level 28. You did hit level 28. Some people in
Yeah.
chat were thinking you might go Glacial Cascade Mines. Were you thinking about that?
Actually, Wins. He came into stream and he was like, "Yo, it's 2017. What are you doing? You should not be playing this shit." But I went for 27 to get that extra like level on my skill gem, and that's basically it. I don't think I hit 28 in the lab, to be honest. I'm not completely sure. I'll just check it out. Oh yeah, I actually did. I did hit 28, but
I believe you hit 28 in the lab.
Yeah.
27 right before, like we were saying, to get that level.
exactly, that's true. I did, but that was really never on my mind. I just tried out the Final of Mines, and I figured it was pretty easy to go with. So,
Well, either way, you did pull a great time there with the
Thank
Fire
you.
Nova Mines. Very, very impressive.
I appreciate it. It was so much fun participating. It really was.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. How long have you been streaming for?
Oh, I'm very new. I started probably like 3 weeks ago or something,
Okay.
and I tend to stream every day. Around this time for sure. Maybe, yeah.
Do you
From
play
like
hardcore or
4 hours
softcore?
ago and like 8 hours ahead. What? Sorry. Sorry.
Hardcore or softcore?
Oh, I'm streaming softcore right now. I used to play hardcore, but the past 2 weeks I've been going on softcore just to try something new and like really theory craft and such. But
Okay. And would you be interested in doing some more races in the future?
most definitely, it was so much fun, and I'm gonna be practicing more for the next one for sure. I didn't
we
expect it to go that well.
We'd definitely like to see you in another race. Do you have any tips, actually, or recommendations for new players who want to get into racing?
Watch good racers. I think that's the best you can do, and then just practice. Really practice the game in general. Like when you're playing and just leveling a character, just try and see like how fast you can go. That's fun. That's always fun, you know. Be efficient. I don't know.
Well, thank you very much, Defect.
Thank you guys. I'm looking forward to see the VOD. I appreciate it.
Win.
Yeah, thanks again, and congrats on your win.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, I guess we're going to pull BEATanga, second place into chat. Hello, BEATanga. Congrats on second place.
Hello, thank you.
How do you feel about your show?
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. And how do you feel about your showing there? Pretty strong second place position there.
Yeah, I think I really had a good start, but I was a little bit unlucky with boots or something, and start falling down, falling behind. And I don't know, I only got boots around Act 3 or so, and after that, I don't know, Mrllama kind of pushed me into lab. After he went in, I said I just have to go in. So it's his fault that I went to lab so early, because I actually wanted to do 2 more levels to get more damage.
Sure, we did notice you the only racer to pick up Chaos Gems with that ED Contagion. Is that something you normally do for racing? Do you feel very comfortable with that setup?
I don't know, since it was no sunder, I kind of thought it's best way to go, because I didn't have too much time to practice. I also did only two runs, one yesterday after lab resetted, and one before this race. But I don't know, I didn't have too much time to test other builds and see how it's going to work, and I don't know. Other option was actually to go Blade Vortex or Essence Drain. Depends if I'm going to get a 3-link wand with 1 green and 2 blues. So that decided.
Want me to just...
Sorry, Don, your microphone's cutting out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Before we say something, I just must say to the guys who did this player board, country is not actually Canada; it's Croatia.
Ah, okay.
So if someone is watching, just to maybe for next time, if I'm going to be in some other race, to change it or something.
And so, would you be interested in doing more races in the future?
Of course. I'm really happy that I got the opportunity to be here, because it was long time ago since I raced last time, and I actually had some nice ranks and rewards. I have like lots of remove only tabs, and I kind of miss racing, so this is a new way to go.
Yeah, I do see there on your player card that you do have 2 demigods, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I have. Let me see. One of them was number 7 Slayer in. I don't know what was the race.
Well, that's very impressive. Do you normally stream, or is this something new for you?
I actually started at what's it called? This Harbinger League. Since I got some kind of new internet that made streaming possible for me. So it's kind of new. So it's like 2 months or so. I'm still trying to get viewers and everything else.
So I did notice that, or we both, Don and I noticed you made some interesting decisions. We did see in Act 1, you went to the Submerged Passage waypoint first before going back to Tidal Island to get that Quicksilver. Was that planned out, or did you forget?
No, it was planned because I was watching some, I don't know, who was it? Some of the pro racers. I was watching their streams and their practices. And I think it was actually Gucci who did that, and I was commenting in chat, why did you go there? Why didn't you go first pick up your Quicksilver and then go through Mudflats? And he said it's faster there because you're getting that 1 level and you don't have to go to town 2 times to check vendors.
All right, well, definitely pro strats there for sure from Gucci.
Once again, I guess showing his influence on this race.
The other thing, too, we noticed, actually, a lot of people opting to skip some of the trinkets and all of the dark shrines. Is that something you feel like either put you ahead or it could have actually helped you in the lab?
I actually forgot what are positions of trinkets. I only wanted to pick a second trinket for gargoyles. I was not worried about portal trinket. But for dark shrines, I actually forgot where are they, what rooms. So I just said I'm gonna pick up this trinket and whatever I have to do, and I'll go straight to last phase.
Nice, yes. Heart of the Gargoyles always being a roadblock for a lot of builds, I feel like, at low levels in normal labs. So I definitely see picking that trinket up to be very advantageous.
The portals did give a lot of people a lot of problems during this race, so
I think Mr. Llama can attest to that for sure.
I mean those skeletons from portals are so tanky, it's incredible. So you really need some big DPS to kill them.
Do you think since you were Essence Drain Contagion that you didn't have to worry about that as much because you can kind of splash your damage through that big pack of monsters regardless?
Yeah, I mean that's the one big plus for Contagion and Essence Drain, that you can just at one point I could just cast my Contagion on skeletons or some monsters, and they can die only from Contagion without even using Essence Drain. So it was, I don't know. That's why I thought it's best way to go.
It definitely proved to do very well, getting second place and very close actually to the #1 position.
Yeah, I mean it's 4 minutes still, and I accidentally resetted the timer. I think it was 1:38:38. But yeah.
I did notice you did pick up 2 deaths during the race. Is there anything that you would do to really kind of adjust your strategy for next time?
I don't know. As I said before, only one colors I got from vendor. They decided that I'm going to play Essence Drain, and it's not really choice. If you're unlucky with wands and you cannot craft +1 to chaos, that I had actually problem before. I think you commented on your stream that I'm not crafting +1 to chaos. Problem was that I didn't even have transmute to transmute the wand, that trilling wand to even make recipe or something.
Okay, so you were listening to our commentary while you were racing.
Yeah, it was on my laptop on the side.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, BEATanga. Congratulations on your second place. Very good showing.
Thank you very much.
Looks like we'll probably get Nogrul in here next.
And not to derail this interview, but Mr. Llama did attempt Izaro again, but did go down during the portal phase.
Bringing up to 12 deaths.
Hi there.
Hey, Nogrul, how's it going? Congrats. Third place was pretty rough, it seemed like, but how do you feel that you did?
Like, I felt that was a pretty decent run. I died too often. I did quite some mistakes, but I was pretty excited as well. And yeah, some shit just happened. It took me way too long to find certain items that I really needed, and I slacked a bit in the mid time of that run. I guess I lost a lot of time and
Sure,
Yeah.
that could definitely be a time issue. 4 deaths, actually not too bad, especially compared to some of the other racers. Is this the first time you've done racing? Have you done any in the past?
I did some racing already, but on an amateur level definitely, and I never did like a 2-hour Izaro race. I kind of overestimated myself maybe a bit there by thinking I could do that, but I did some practice runs before as well, and I ended up on 5 or 2 hours and 10 minutes. So actually, that is my fastest Izaro kill ever, even though I died 4 times. So yeah.
Being in the race helped you go a little bit faster, a little bit
Yeah.
more of an edge, just being in the race.
Yeah, definitely, and a lot more focus, a lot more into my like only focusing on the race, not on chat, not on anything else. I
I'll be
tried my
honest-
best.
I'm gonna be honest,
A
the
little bit of
2 hour.
information on the side there.
What did he say?
Was chat giving you a little bit of information or any
Like-
sort of updates on the side?
Yeah, at the very end, like when it was sure that only me and Llama are contending anymore, they told me that, and they also told me I should definitely try and go for it, and gave me, for example, the advice to pick up a third life flask instead of the movement speed flask. And so chat kind of saved my ass on that point, because without the third life flask, I wouldn't have made it, I think. It was
Yeah,
a
it looks
really-
like most of the racers ended up using either the 3 life flasks or a 2 in a Quicksilver. Now, we did notice you didn't have much movement speed early on. You took a while to find those boots. Is that something that you feel really held you back?
Yeah, it definitely held me back quite a lot. I had those movement speed boots from very early on, like level 5 or so. The main issue was I couldn't find any dexterity. On no item there was dexterity. I couldn't find any Jade Amulet, and I couldn't find a transmute to buy a Jade Amulet.
Yeah, we noticed you going back to Act 1, I think in Act 2 or so.
Yeah, I needed
didn't
to
have
go-
the transmute.
And it needed to go several times to Act 1 to try and figure out how to get that transmute, finally get me that Jade Amulet to be able to equip those movement speed boots. And also I needed to check the vendor like 10 times until I finally found a wand with 3 blue link, which is usually pretty common, but in this race, like, it took me until the middle of Act 2 until I finally found any triple blue linked wand for my +1. That took quite a while as well.
Sure, and I just want to say that 2 hours, might be third in this race, but still a very strong showing compared to a lot of other people who have never raced Izaro before. It's definitely hard to do. If you guys have never raced Izaro, you should try it. 2 hours is pretty hard.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nogrul. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Being able to
Yay.
kill is very good, man.
I was happy about it.
Well, thank you very much. Do you normally stream hardcore or softcore?
Usually I only stream hardcore. I play a lot of off meta though. Like, most of the time I play stuff that is quite unusual, especially Snowflake, Nogrul builds. Just lately I got like one sunder build for the first time and was wondering why I did not always do that. Basically, so I'm trying out a lot of stuff that, yeah, just experimenting with a lot of skills is a lot of fun for me. So hardcore is my theme, but also not like effective grinding and farming for currency, more like hardcore experimental.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Nogrul. We do appreciate you, and congratulations once again on your 3rd place.
Thank you very much for having.
No res at all.
No res at all,
Mr.
Mr. Llama.
Llama, welcome
What is
to the
up?
interview portion.
Uh-oh.
Getting 4th place. Now, you did have great links there, great skills, showing so much prowess in the beginning, and actually, I think very much impressing all of us, pushing so quickly, only to fail in the lab. Very rough.
Yeah, it was. That was honestly the plan, which is, like terrible to plan to fail possibly, but that was actually my plan kind of all along. I wanted to race to the lab. That was all I had practiced. I had practiced a Sunder build actually.
Right.
And so when I went to Nugi, I was like, hey, get me in the race. And he was like, awesome. All right, I'll get you in. I was like, great. I was like, what's the race? He's like, no Sunder. It's like, perfect. That's exactly what I haven't practiced. So I had no clue. I had no clue really what I was going to be running or what skill I wanted to use. So I thought, I'm kind of just going to practice the standard, just get to Izaro, because that's all I really have practiced down. And then I knew I was going to die at Izaro. I didn't think I would make it. I thought I might get through the first phase maybe until I saw portals, but I thought I might get through the first phase maybe, but I wasn't expecting that, honestly.
So you're just generally not very familiar with the labyrinth in the first place?
I played Diablo 2. And I've just not, most people run lab every day. I don't run lab. And I'm not trying to throw excuses out, right? But labyrinth is a very difficult area in my mind, at least, especially when you're kind of under-leveled and slightly under-geared and stuff.
So you're familiar with the fact that there's trinkets in the lab that you can get that would disable one of the portals or one of the gargoyles that might have helped you out?
Yeah, because I think I had a portal disabler some time ago. One of the labs I saw that. I don't think a portal disable would have helped me in this case. Kind of my thoughts during the lab went like this, right? So I got to the lab and I felt great because I was very happy with my time getting there. I was very happy with my item management getting there. So I felt really good. And then I opened up my tab and I had no resistances at all. 16, 25, and 0 or something. So at that point, I kind of knew the game was over for me. And it just felt strange because I felt like I didn't know how to roll it. I mean, I used essence on my gloves after rolling through multiple gloves. This was my 3rd helmet before I finally found res. I did transmutes on both my rings. I never found a single augment in the game. I transmuted my armor. Trying really hard to get resistances and life and stuff, and nothing rolled plus life, nothing rolled plus resistances. And I kind of figured this is going to be a little difficult. And then
you have quite low life compared to some of the other people.
Yeah, and the bigger issue, of course, is I wasn't very smart in choosing Molten Strike as an item of choice, as a skill of choice for ending. Because, like I said, most of the time it was that rolls into Sunder. Just not skilled enough at the game yet to play that close to Izaro. And I'm just not familiar enough. I try and get a read on what he's going to do, and then the next thing I know, I'm just dead.
Okay.
So it was just, it was difficult there.
I mean, honestly, you had an extremely strong showing through probably 90% of the race. So saying not skilled is something I wouldn't agree with. But yeah, just cleaning up that Izaro work, and you would have an insanely good time. I did watch some of your VODs and notice Nugi was helping you out, hand-holding, doing some sparring or training, as you will. Do you feel that him choosing to give you Sunder during that training period was ultimately a sabotage, or did it help out in this race?
Probably the most saboteur thing that he could have possibly done. Just kind of conveniently decided to teach me Sunder, right? I come to Nugi, on my knees with my hands out, and I say, "Please, master, give me some training." And he says, "Sunder duelist it is." And I was like, "Oh wow!" At the time I felt so blessed. And then of course when I'm in the race, staring down Izaro, I kept trying to cast Sunder because I was like, that's what I practiced. So I'd stand there and I'd try and cast it, and it was Molten Strike, so I'd run towards it to go smack him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, not again. So kind of definite sabotage, definitely.
So did you ever consider like leaving the lab, getting a little bit more levels, maybe some different flasks? I did notice that you had like some interesting flask choice there for a while, 3 mana flasks. Can you kind of talk us through their thought process there?
Yeah, so my flask setup was once again my setup for Sunder, because when I was running Sunder, I was having some mana issues. So I thought, I'm going to run 3 mana, 2 life. This is what I practiced. After a few deaths, I decided maybe it's time to switch that up to 3 and 2 in favor of life. I thought that was a little bit better. So I felt good about that once I got in. The problem was still just having to melee Izaro straight up face to face with with the portals and 0 res. So like I was getting frozen and stunned and shocked and everything from all those guys. And you just can't. I just felt like I couldn't fight Izaro at all with that.
Was this still something that you ended up enjoying, something that you're looking to like perhaps getting better at and coming back and doing better in a race in the future?
Oh, for sure. That was, like I said, everything that I wanted accomplished today was accomplished. And although at the end it says fourth place because I knew I wasn't going to finish the lab. Because all I have is from Act 1 to Izaro kind of practiced. So that's all I wanted. I just wanted to work that. If you guys remember the last time I raced, I think I started lab at like 2:20 or something. So I was able to start lab just about an hour prior to that. So I was very happy with it. And it's something that in the future, gladly. Yeah. I'm going to practice Izaro. I'm going to practice picking up a different build.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you do better in the future. You were able to survive in lots of situations there where your life was in the double, even single digits sometimes. I was calling you a low life llama. Just pretty much always below the 30% mark, it seemed. But very good, very surprising to see you survive a lot of those situations. And hopefully we'll get to see you on the victory stage here soon enough.
I do have one last question, Llama. I'm just curious, how were you feeling at that lab death where you were almost frozen in time from Izaro's barrage? I saw that you looked really confused. I was confused. What happened there?
I was extremely confused. So I guess one of the minions froze me literally mid leap, and I thought the server lagged. I thought it was a server lag, and I got like ping-ponged back or whatever, rubber banded back. I was so confused as to what happened during that. And then, chat was like, oh no, you're frozen.
I think this could have been, a combination of a Nugi sabotage and possibly a GGG sabotage there, maybe.
100% agree with that.
Possibilities for that.
That sounds, I don't think it can be anything but that. So.
Well, thanks a lot, Llama. You were definitely very entertaining to watch as the other racers. Better luck next time, but you did have a very, very strong showing throughout most of that race. And I'm sure you're going to be coming back and showing an even better finish.
Once I learn how to kill Izaro and don't get sabotaged by Nugi, I feel pretty good about the next race. I think I can take first or second.
Okay, well, we'll definitely be looking forward to that. I believe that's it for our race day today, so we'll be passing this back to Havoc now. Cooterz, thank you much for commentating with me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Don, as well, and thanks to Havoc for this great race. It was very entertaining. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys watching had a lot of fun as well.
Thanks for casting, guys. That was an awesome job, and it's a very fun race to watch. So, coming up next tomorrow, we have 2 events. Starting the day at 1 p.m. Eastern is the 2v2 semi-pro pick and ban normal Izaro, Wins and Crushington versus Ventura and Hesla. And after that, now this event may be cancelled since Kid and Cat Noodle just told me she has to drop out. So we only have 2 participants right now. We might replace this with another pick and ban Izaro kill. So I'll give you guys updates tomorrow on that. But again, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for casting. It was a blast. See you guys later.